let that city take you away. Come on home, let that city spit you out. Come on home, let that city take you down. God say turn around. Woo. Baby, when all your love is gone, who will save me from all I'm up against out in this world? And maybe you'll find something that's enough to keep you. But if the bright lights don't receive you, well, turn yourself around, you come on home. Hey, come on home. Hey, come on home. Hey. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Hey, na, 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 na. Hey.
What a mashup.
Yeah, Leon loved the end of that. It's Larry David's song.
Gotta get putting that ass, Larry.
Very good stuff. I love when you do Matchbox 20.
Thank
Again,
you.
this is always brought to you by our friends at Floribama. The big beach run for America's Warriors tomorrow. 100% registration fees will go to that, but 40-plus live performances on 6 stages this weekend. Floribama.com/live music for more information on those guys.
Yeah, can you play us? Oh, no, Tyler's got you. All right, Odie's tonight if the
Right
game
after the
doesn't-
Alabama game, if you
Yeah.
guys want to hang out after the Alabama game and watch Will's Dayton Rockstar featuring Doug.
Hear 2 songs from them.
Yeah, that's fine. That's all right.
All right, good luck to everybody's team. Good luck, Auburn. Good luck, Alabama. Good luck, UAB. Good luck, everybody. And enjoy the weekend. We will be live with the MyBookie.ag selection show on Sunday. Set your alerts so you know when we're live. Watch for social media from everything from Nashville and everything we're doing live this weekend. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching us on The Next Round and listening wherever you listen throughout the world.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At NextRound.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting NextRound.store. Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Wow, craziness in the NCAA tournament bracket. Auburn's in the bracket of death. We'll talk about that later on. Old World Cup soccer term. Best teams may be stacked in that bracket compared to others when it comes to strength of bracket. Alabama's got a second chance at life in this dance. UAB is in it. Maybe it's AK's best coaching job. We'll talk about that later on. Samford is in there with a shot to pull the curtain back on the Wizard of Oz in Kansas. We'll get to that. But let's start with the teams that won a championship yesterday first, and then we'll work our way to the NCAA tournament. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Rockstar, Tyler, Forrester, Lunsford, all out there, E.G., and Taylor Corn back from Nashville, all out in our social media area. Let's go first with the Auburn Tigers and their run through Nashville, and we'll work our way to maybe they're seeding a little bit of a snub there, but Auburn, a dominant performance yesterday against Florida. The Gators lose their big player early on that sort of, I don't know, the game was trending that way anyway, but losing a big 7-footer early on, it changed the mood on the bench for the Gators. But Auburn looks like they're playing good basketball at a very good time.
Well, I brought this up yesterday on our selection show. If you were watching the game, I know you were in the arena yesterday, and I don't know if you heard this, Brown, but Jimmy Dykes, who was a color analyst on the broadcast, said coming into the tournament, this is the most balanced team in college basketball. And I really don't have a problem with that. I mean, guard play is iffy at times. Baker Mazzara has been fantastic. But if you get good, solid guard play with what you've got in the front court and their ability to protect the rim and the depth on the bench, and this is a dangerous team. And I'll say it again, I really believe if it was a 4 seed in a different region, it would be one of the sexiest, trendiest Final Four selections out there. But they got a tough draw.
They really do.
Of all the teams in America, I've started paying closer attention to these metrics of every national champion in so many years has come from this group of teams, right?
That's right.
And all year long, with the exception of one metric, more on that later this week, Auburn has checked every single metric box. I mean, and that's been all season, really. All season, they've been in those windows where you got to be this good defensively, this good offensively. You got to have this stat in your favor or that stat in your favor. They've checked every box, but all along, everybody's like, yeah, but boy, look at that quad one record. They just haven't beaten anybody any good, and they've started to erase that now. Or all year long, everybody's like, yeah, but they get the boost playing in Neville Arena. Get them outside Neville Arena and see what happens. And now they've erased that. I mean, Bridgestone may have sounded like Neville Arena, but it wasn't Neville Arena.
Taylor, the comment that Taylor hated all year long with me, I was like, we'd be in an Alabama game, and I'd be like, largest crowd to see a basketball game in the state of Alabama today. And she'd look at, would you stop that? And I said yesterday, more Auburn fans seeing a basketball game in person today than all season long, because more Auburn fans were in Nashville watching that game than could fit in Neville Arena.
You know what's funny is I was pulling out of my driveway Saturday, and my neighbors had just backed out, and they stopped, and we were just conversing in the street. And the wife, this is a sweet couple, and the wife was like, we're thinking about going to Nashville tomorrow. The tickets were really low this morning, but they've shot up since Auburn got there. We're thinking about going. And I was like, I'll be happy to check with, ATIX and let you know. And then before I could get out of my neighborhood, another buddy of mine texted me, and he's like, hey, what do you think ATIX has on these Auburn tickets? I'm thinking about going up there. And then I realized that's one of the cheaper tickets they've been able to see Auburn with all year.
Yep.
Like if you go to Neville Arena, that ticket is probably less in Bridgestone than it was for most games at Neville.
You got to have faith in your team when you want to buy cheap tickets, because it was $18 a ticket for the rest of the tournament. If you bought on the day Tennessee and Kentucky got eliminated, that's what the market was flooded with. Tennessee and Kentucky folks.
If you've never been to an SEC tournament, now most tickets are mobile now. But if you've never been to an SEC tournament where Kentucky got eliminated, it is a sight because their fans just flood out the arena, holding up tickets or, selling
books of tickets.
Books of tickets.
And I don't, they used to call it Catlanta when they would play in Atlanta. Yeah. And I'm not exaggerating. With the tournaments I've been to, it seems like 50% of the fan base is Kentucky. The fan bases.
That's
collectively.
True. Until they get bounced. And then they got bounced, and the Auburn fans took it over for good reason because their team's playing tremendous basketball.
But by yesterday morning, it was about 120 for a get-in for that game. I talked to a lady during Reverse Tiger Walk. She called her whole family, texted the text family chain, says, I'm driving from down in Spanish Fort to Nashville. Who wants to go with me?
Yeah.
And a couple of daughters jumped in. The husband stayed home. I don't know if he's a Bama fan or what, but that part of the family drove all the way from Spanish Fort up to Nashville and was there in time for Reverse Tiger Walk.
I know from Steve Susi at ATEX, from texting him after that conversation, the get-in Saturday afternoon was still around like $120, and the prime seating was about $350 a ticket.
Yeah.
But, I think you felt pretty confident as an Auburn fan you were going to watch your team stand in the confetti. At least I felt that way.
Look, top 15 adjusted offensive efficiency, top 15 adjusted defensive efficiency. They're holding their opponents to 43% on shots inside of the arc. But you look at the draw. You can make an argument, most difficult 1 seed in that region with UConn, most difficult 2 seed in Iowa State, who just won the Big 12 championship. Yeah. And, say what you want about Illinois, but they just won the Big Ten championship.
That's how you get the title region of death.
That's right. And we'll break down that region of death later on. But as an SEC champion, here's Bruce Pearl yesterday on the podium with net around the neck.
Winning the championship this year means even more because the league was so good. This is. I was telling Garth before, and I told my son Steven, we've won a few of these. I think this one is the most special. Maybe it's because it's in my 10th year here at Auburn, or because the bond that this team had. I wanted it really badly for these guys, or maybe just the fact that this league was that good. So proud of my team.
That's Bruce Pearl right there. Proud of this team. The unity is huge for that team. We'll talk about where they are in the NCAA tournament coming up in a second. Rockstar Get Cut 8 ready to go. Andy Kennedy's team wins yesterday as well to punch their ticket, an automatic bid there. Andy comes on our show every week. And to say this season was a little bit of a roller coaster would be an understatement. But they had some big moments. Those home wins against Florida Atlantic and Memphis were big moments in front of a packed Bartow. Top 20 Ken Pom teams at the time, or AP, at least AP poll ranked teams at the time. And then towards the end, they'd win a game. You think, oh, that's a good sign. Then they'd lose one. You're like, oh. So a roller coaster. And then they get to the American, and it opened up for them. And AK does it again, punches another ticket.
He does. I can't remember the game he came on with us after, and he was just beat down. I'd never seen AK like that, honestly. I can't remember the
Rice.
Was it Rice?
It was Rice.
It was when they just got bodied by Rice, and he was like, guys, I wish I could explain it. That was low as I've seen.
He talked about, and we asked the question, most frustrating loss in your tenure, and he was like, yeah, I think so, because couldn't really explain it. And they did get the benefit of getting Temple, a team that
couldn't believe it, Lance.
And you guys helped me because I had Temple against UAB when the Gaming Bureau came out and said we're investigating this game. And it kind of went away, and they won that game at like 30+, and then Temple makes this incredible run in the American. And so I thought they got a really good draw being a 6.5-point favorite yesterday.
I had not thought of it. You just brought that up.
I know what you're going to say.
Like, from the moment that story broke that it looked like Temple was fixing games, all of a sudden they just started winning every game they played. It's like all of a sudden,
hey guys, can't take any more money. Let's go out there, literally play 40 minutes of basketball.
Hey, you know who that reminded me of?
Who
started being a good baseball team last year when Bohannon got
Alabama. Yeah, weird, huh?
It was weird.
Yeah, I was blown away that Temple, because obviously when UAB won the early game Saturday, I knew FAU and Temple's late. I was like, this is going to be pretty cool now. UAB, FAU, the Conference USA matchup. It's been kind of those two back and forth. It's USA since AK's been there. They're going to get to play again this time in the American for a right to go to the tournament. And then, boom, Temple beat FAU. I was blown away by that. But to your point, UAB had just run Temple a few weeks early. In fact, one of only, I think, 3 teams in like 20 years to score 100 points on them.
Yeah, but I didn't see this coming. Again, we speculated that, and we knew at this point last week, or we would know on Tuesday, that Samford was winning their conference tournament, and they were squarely in. We knew Alabama and Auburn was going to be in. I just didn't see UAB going on this run, but great for Andy Kennedy, great for the state, and it's going to be a fun week.
Andy never lost faith. This is him in Fort Worth after cutting down the nets and taking that championship trophy up on the podium.
I am really proud of this group. I've been doing this as a head coach for 17 years, been in the game over 30, and I don't know if I've ever had a team that grew as much as this team throughout the course of the season. I think they really started to trust and believe in one another. And once we found our formula and we developed the discipline to stay to that formula, I think we showed what we were capable of doing. My goal was to get this program back to the Bartow standard. And some people that aren't really as familiar with Gene Bartow as others would say, okay, what do you mean by that? These moments, having an opportunity to compete for championships, having an opportunity to climb that ladder and cut down nets, having an opportunity to play meaningful basketball in the month of March, and then putting these kids in a position where they can fulfill a childhood dream of being a part of March Madness.
Now, this is the best basketball league UAB's been in since the original Conference USA or the Great Midwest.
Louisville, Cincinnati, when all those teams were still in CUSA.
So for them to do this in their first year and come out of now the American to be in this bracket, not a one-bid league, that was a big moment for UAB moving into this because football was sort of in a transition this year with Trent Dilfer, and their first year in the American really didn't live up to the standard I think we had before in Conference USA for UAB football, what Bill Clark and them had done. But this was a big moment for UAB to not only get in this tournament but to sort of put their flag in the ground as an American conference member and say, we're going to be here and play a little basketball, boys.
Yeah, and you've got a guy in Yaxel that is a matchup nightmare, and he's a guy that can take a game over, and UAB starts hitting those threes. It's a dangerous team.
I can't remember which one of you said it in our show yesterday, our bracket show, which is available on YouTube if you want to go back and see everything that we talked about as the brackets were being released yesterday in our watch party. One of you said that he is built with one win to become one of those March Madness stars.
Yeah, that was me. I think maybe they would have to get to the Sweet 16. They would have to upset Auburn. But with his name, it's a unique name, Yaxel Lindenberg. I mean, it's a pretty cool name, right? Yeah. And his style of play, he's one of those guys that a lot of America has not seen play, Lance. And if he's got a couple big games and they spring the upset of Auburn, or Yale, but most likely Auburn, they spring the upset of Auburn and make it to the Sweet 16, I think he becomes one of the players of this tournament that everybody's talking about.
Yeah, and I brought up that's good and bad. It's good for UAB that you've advanced, but it's bad that you've got everyone coming after this guy probably in the transfer portal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yaks, it's UConn on the phone.
Phone ringing off the hook.
On
the way that guy plays, he is a walking double-double.
Yep, 100%.
And it's not a fluke. I mean, they play good teams in the American, and this guy puts up a double-double almost every single night.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we'll get to the NCAA tournament now. Everybody's draw and all of that for a lot of the show. Part of your best and worst of the weekend as well. But first, let me tell you about, Brown, will you hand me a Coca-Cola Spiced?
Jim, I would love to.
Quick?
If you'll give me 1 second, I'll have to unplug my headphones here.
Yeah, Coca-Cola Spiced. While you're grabbing that for me,
yes.
I will tell you, you can enjoy a taste of the spice side of life with the all-new Coca-Cola Spice with an unexpected burst of raspberry and spiced flavors. Try the refreshing drink today, which I'm about to do. You're going to open it up at a local retailer. This isn't a local retailer. It's your favorite sports podcast and video show. It's my first one.
You've never had that?
No. That is spicy.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's got a little pop to it.
Yeah, and it's got a little pop to it, and it's got a little fruity flavor. Perfect for summer, I think, right there. Get it at your local retailer near you. It's Coca-Cola Spice. And it's spiced for life right there with our friends at Coca-Cola. Into the bracket now. We know who everybody's playing. Auburn has got Yale. Yale, by the way, if you missed it, buzzer beater to beat Brown to make their way into the tournament. Alabama's got Charleston. UAB's got San Diego State. And Samford's got Kansas. We got the start times yesterday for those. Samford plays on Thursday, 8:55, late game against Kansas. So most of the nation will get to watch all of the end of that game. Then on Friday, with UAB, Auburn, and Alabama all out in Spokane, UAB early window, 12:30 Central Time, UAB San Diego State. Yale and Auburn go at 3 o'clock Central Time, and then Alabama goes at 6:35 Central Time against Charleston. So those are your X's and O's there. And I'll go first. We talked a little Auburn. We talked a little Samford. Alabama, we've been saying it all year long. They've got to get a little stuff fixed in some places. But as far as a draw goes, that's about as favorable of a draw you can get in the opener against Charleston. If they were to advance against St. Mary's, now you go up against one of the better defensive teams in America, and now it gets real for Alabama. But if you had to place me in a bracket for Alabama, that's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, you could tell Nate Oates not only didn't really want to do that media hit yesterday. How many times did he say, hey, when I get out of here, I get out of here.
If I can ever get off this Zoom, we're going to start breaking down the tape.
But you could kind of tell, and I said before he came on, I think you're going to see some quiet confidence in Nate Oates. Although the team is playing bad basketball right now, they seem lost. Obviously, defensively, they're not hitting their shots. But as far as 4 goes, I mean, and I'll say it again, if you put Auburn where Alabama is, I think Auburn is the trendiest Final Four pick out there. But it's a really good draw if you can get by Charleston, and this is a team that dominated in the Coastal Athletic Association. Then you get a favorable draw with St. Mary's or Grand Canyon.
The thing you like about Charleston, if you're an Alabama fan, is their defense actually statistically is worse than Alabama's. And if you're an Alabama fan and you've watched in frustration the Alabama defense, know that Charleston's actually, by the numbers, Lance, is worse. And their offense is nowhere close to as good as Alabama's statistically. So that matchup in and of itself right there tells you that favors Alabama. The way Charleston plays defense and the way Alabama plays offense, you got to like that matchup right off the jump.
Yeah, Pat Kelsey is a coach, though, now in his 4th NCAA tournament. They were there last year. They lost to eventual runner-up San Diego State by 6. So this is a team that, the stage is not going to be too big. And it is a top 60 offense. They're averaging 80 points per game. And I kind of jokingly said this yesterday. You take that, if it's 80, against everybody, what is it against Alabama? 85, 90?
Yeah. I was joking when I was looking at some of the analytics. After I'd left the show yesterday, when you guys started talking to Steven and then the Nate Oates news conference, I was looking at the analytics, and I was like, I wonder if Alabama will wear the NBA East All-Star or NBA West All-Star uniforms when it comes to the playing defense in this contest. It'll be all-star-esque at times.
Well, there are a few teams, and, we could specifically stay in the SEC. If they play 40 minutes of defense, if they give the best effort of the season, and you would assume once you get to this point you will, but Alabama and Kentucky are two really, especially Kentucky, really dangerous teams if they give that effort.
Now, I will say, looking ahead, St. Mary's has got a lot of length, and their defense is really, really good.
Number 2, I think.
Fingers?
I think number 2 in the...
And Ken Palm, they're 16th.
It's a top 20 defense for sure.
Top 20 defense. But it is also, you can neutralize that a little bit. If you could shoot with a smaller lineup, you could take some of those 7-1 guys, 6'10 guys out of the game. So I kind of... If you're Alabama, I think you like your spot. I think Alabama got treated pretty well for a 4 seed.
Well, and you got in my opinion, the number 1 that has the most questions in North Carolina.
They're number 9 in the Ken Palm. That means in Ken Palm, there are 8 teams better than North Carolina.
I mean, right now, Auburn and North Carolina neutral site. North Carolina's probably going to be a 4.5 point favorite, but I would like Auburn in that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, just Janai on Baycott, is that his name?
Yeah. Armando Baycott, a guy that played for a national championship 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and a guy that really has cashed in. Game probably not good enough, kind of one of those tweeners next level, but NIL.
Yep. So good draw for Alabama, and then there's Samford Rockstar. Let's go back. Let's hear Nate Oates first. Nate Oates on the podium. Talking about Alabama's mindset of where they are after what happened in Nashville before they make the long journey to Spokane.
Obviously we're trying to win the SEC tournament, but might have been a blessing in disguise for an NCAA tournament run to get our legs a little more rested, and not playing until Friday gets us there even more, because we haven't had our full allotment of guys on no minute restriction since that Texas A&M game when we were playing pretty good basketball. So I think this Friday will be the first time we've got everybody healthy, ready to go since that A&M game.
Yeah, and that'll be important. Again, I was lucky enough to do the Crimson Tide radio network up there. Late, you had Wrightsell leaving the floor, going all the way to the locker room, coming back, icing his knee. having to try to. They were checking it for a tear. I've heard nothing that it's anything serious, so he's going to be good to go, I guess. And you still have the back issues from Estrada. He's always got one of those bands on where he's getting massaged all the time, and
still, it seems like something's off. And I haven't heard anything internally. And Nate just signed his contract extension.
Yep.
But there seems to be something missing. We knew defense was a problem, but now it's just watching them. It seems like something's off.
Well, Pringle and Grant aren't playing like they didn't play too bad down low the other night. Just Florida we're so good with those bigs inside. But, Sears just nobody's hitting the threes.
Yeah, and that's the problem. When half of your attempts are from behind the arc, you've got to be able to hit those shots. And especially, like, if you play bad defense and you play at the pace of Alabama and you're missing your threes, that is a recipe for disaster, and that's what you saw in Nashville.
Because it almost is a flow for them, right? If you hit a few threes, there's a flow to their game, and when you're missing them, it just feels so herky-jerky. Yeah. It just never feels smooth.
There's no rhythm at all.
But, last year, the exact opposite was true. They came out of the SEC tournament where they were making everything they were looking at. Right. They were playing elite-level offense. Brandon Miller was fantastic. And they got to the tournament, and their offense really did not click the entire tournament. It was enough to get past who did they play in the opener? I forget last year. I sat there and watched the game.
Yeah, I did too.
It was Lafayette?
Yeah, no, it was the team that played their way in. And then Maryland. Maryland led that game early, and Alabama was kind of sluggish.
Was it St. Peter's?
No, it was not. And then when you got up against San Diego State, there was never any offense in that game. They could not hit a three. So you hope, all right, if that can be true, if it can be true that I can come in as a red-hot shooting team and then my shooting disappear, the reverse can also be true, that I can come in struggling and I don't have a whole lot of answers, and for some reason something clicks and all of a sudden I'm making everything I look at and I get to the Sweet 16.
Brown pointed this out, and I think it was off the air. We talk about the committee and what sense of humor they might have, and I'm still shocked that you had Samford as a 13 and both Alabama and Auburn as 4s, and you didn't have that matchup. I thought for sure we would see that matchup.
Well, keep in mind Greg Byrne and Martin Newton, right?
They're both on the committee, yes. Yeah. Texas A&M Corpus Christi, by the way, was the team we were all grasping for. I remember they won their tournament to sneak in. But that's again those ADs have to recuse themselves, or a conference commissioner, if they're discussing teams in their school or in their conference. But as I always point out, they walk back in and look at everybody else in the room too, and they're like, "Okay."
Yeah, so how does that
work? Why is nobody making eye contact with me?
Well, so Trev Alberts, your former athletic director at Nebraska, now your current athletic director at Texas A&M, when he walks in that room and he says, that's like the last thing he probably wanted.
What, playing Nebraska?
Yeah, because I'm sure he's got, I don't know this. I was sure that he's pulling for Fred Hoiberg and those guys.
Sure.
How awkward is this situation?
Give it to me. We were going to unveil it later, but here it was. Deleted tweet.
Got deleted quick.
Deleted tweet, LT. Trev Alberts. Well, this will be fun. Sweating emoji. Congratulations, Coach Hoiberg. Congratulations, Coach Williams, VBCD. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, why would you delete that?
Somebody, I would imagine, at your new employer said, "You wait a second. You're our athletic director, and you're congratulating the other coach." And I don't know what VBCD means, but at some point, I'm sure he said, "May the best team win," or "Good luck to both guys."
Boy, if he's already getting policed on his text, it's going to be a long tenure.
Yeah, absolutely. So he deleted that one, and he will. The Nebraska fans that were responding to that tweet were, "Oh, please go to the game, so we can boo you, so we can boo you."
That'll show it.
I don't think. Do you guys think we'll see Trev Alberts at the game? I don't think he's going to be at that game.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't think he'll be at the game where his team's playing?
I don't know,
because athletic director.
Well, I just think he takes away from what's going on. I mean, people aren't going to be talking about Buzz Williams and Wade Taylor. People are going to be talking about the athletics director.
That's a great point. And then there's this scene real quickly as we continue with this extended first segment here. Samford down at Homewood outside of our great sponsors Odie's and Bandwagon yesterday. An amazing crowd. National TV got to see this moment from up top. Here's how it looked when Samford's name was back in the bracket for the first time since 2000.
Kansas, an NCAA record 34th consecutive appearance, and they will face Samford.
How about that?
That's pretty cool.
How about that right there? And look at that
pretty
crowd.
Cool.
And the whole national audience got to see that on CBS. right down in the beautiful downtown Homewood there.
I think Kansas, if healthy, is a dangerous team, but McCullers has had that shoulder issue that it's a bone bruise. It hadn't gone away. You look at Dickinson, he's actually got the one with the dislocated shoulder.
That's right.
The deep bone bruise from McCullers, which won't go away. If those guys aren't healthy, this isn't a really good Kansas team. When they're healthy, it's a team that beat Kentucky, they beat UConn, they beat Houston. So it is, in my opinion, one of the better teams in college basketball when healthy. I just don't know if they're going to be healthy. I already heard somebody this morning, and I forgot who it was. It was a national personality. He likes Samford to win this game.
Davis said it on the show last night, yeah.
Seth Davis said, this is where I set myself on fire. I think Samford beats Kansas.
Well, this is one of those things that with Kansas, without playing with their stars during the Big 12 tournament, although that was a quick exit, they've lost their final 2 games by a combined 50 points. They were 4-5 in their last 9 games overall. If they get behind a Samford team that plays a top 15 pace and hits almost 40% of their threes, that could be a recipe for disaster. But again, I think if Kansas comes out and if they are healthy, it's a bad matchup.
All right. So those are the teams that are in the tournament. We'll talk more about UAB, Auburn, the champions who cut down nets yesterday and their matchups. More on Bama and Samford as we move throughout the day and throughout the week. Show being brought to you by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, treating all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones and everything in between. There you see the phone number on the screen, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com/2024, urologycentersalabama.com/2024. Go schedule an appointment, get checked out, and let's stay healthy here in 2024. When we come back, more basketball as we roll on. Some of the conversations about the bracket will continue on, and we continue with your best and your worst of the weekend. We like to hear that as well, brought to you by our friends at Hemphill. LT, take us to break with Hemphill.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Trusted name, Birmingham's trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. It's hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Let me introduce you to the new line of Red Wing athletic work shoes. This great new line is perfect for the industrial athlete, the guy who is working on concrete or running through the warehouse all day long. Red Wing Athletics use the same technology found in a running shoe, with soft mesh uppers, a lightweight aluminum toe for protection, and non-slip soles. This shoe is a winner. This comfortable new line of safety shoes are perfect for warehousing and light manufacturing. Plus, the colors look great. Stop by your local Red Wing shoe store, have your feet measured, and test drive a new pair of Red Wing athletic work shoes. news.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Maybe you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or TikTok. Well, we're changing the game yet again. Tyler's Telegrams has been developed exclusively for you.
Hi, this is the lovable boy you know as Tyler the Intern. I'm a businessman now. I will come directly to your door and tell you every time a new piece of TNR content drops. For the low, low price of $740,000, you can be notified by me, one of the biggest stars of the next round, about that thing you missed. Sure, the rest of those social media services are free, but so is radio, and we all know how well that's trending.
Tyler's Telegrams is currently operating exclusively in Bibb County. Other social media platforms are available everywhere.
All right, we'll get to best and worst of the weekend. Brown will curate some of those over there. But right after LT tells us about Dr. B, I want to go into why Auburn's region is the region of death, and it's really just metrics. But it's a tougher region than the other 3. It just is, just by the numbers. Dr. B, though, looked at the numbers of your hair, small number, and he was like, we need to increase this number, and he's done that.
He has, man. The hair has more than doubled in thickness since my first appointment with Dr. Beckenstein over 2 years ago. I don't remember the exact date, but all I'm doing is that non-invasive 30-minute treatment 3 times a week on the couch, and the hair is more than doubled in thickness. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316, t3hair.net for more information.
Okay, so just by Ken Palm this morning, by the way, the highest rated team in Ken Palm, not in the tournament, was number 25 St. John's.
Yeah, Ricky not happy about that.
Oh, boy, he went off.
He was not happy, but 24 teams ahead of them in the Ken Palm, all in the tournament. But in Auburn's region, the East, now don't let the fact that Auburn's going to Spokane fool you. They're in the East. UConn is the number 1 overall seed in Ken Palm, too. They're the number 1 rated team in Ken Palm. Number 4 in that region is Auburn. Number 4 overall in the nation, and they're the number 4 team in Ken Palm.
So they were 15th on the NCAA tournament official seed list. So a lot of people look at that and they're like, well, if UConn's the overall number 1 and Alabama is number 16, how did Alabama not get that 4 seed? They're playing in the same place. So I ask you guys, look, you're going to have to beat a 1 at some point anyway.
Right.
Potentially, unless the one gets upset.
There are certain ones that are better than others.
Well, yeah, I mean, you think UConn is significantly better than North Carolina?
No,
just better.
Just better.
Did you just say better, not significantly
I'm just
better?
saying if they played their best basketball 10 times, I think UConn wins that game over North Carolina 7 times, maybe 8.
So if Auburn is the 15th,
hold on, 7 out of 10 seems significantly better to me.
Well, I mean,
for 1 seeds. I mean, you're talking about 1 seeds.
Yeah.
So your 4 seeds, Duke, Kansas, Auburn, Alabama, are in that order, or at least these are the teams in the order of the seeding list. Let me say it that way to eliminate confusion. Duke 13, Kansas 14, Auburn 15, Alabama 16. So a lot of Auburn fans are like, okay, based on that NCAA seeding list, how are we getting the overall number 1? And I guess the committee would say, well, the trade-off on that is you'll get to play in the East, which is closer to Auburn. I mean, it's in Boston. I don't know how close it is to Auburn.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make that math work there.
Can't you move it by?
Oh, you can move it, yeah. But I'm just saying. But you would have to have some sort of justification for moving it. Like, what's the justification for saying, you know what? By our seed numbers, Alabama should be playing UConn in the UConn region, but let's put Auburn there. I mean, I don't know what your justification would be.
I mean, realistically, who the better team is, Kentucky or Auburn, I think it's Auburn. You know, if Kentucky is playing with effort, it's a little bit different, but Auburn should be that 3 line. I said they were one of the best 8 teams in basketball. They should have moved up to a 3 line. You heard Stephen Pearl, associate head coach, when he was with us yesterday. They obviously, I mean, it's hard to be a coach and get these guys to play maximum effort over these 3 nights when you know ultimately, I mean, it's nice to cut down nets, but it's not going to do anything for our seeding.
Yeah, I would tell you this, Brownie, and right or wrong, if Alabama was where Auburn is, who do they play in the second round if there's an upset?
UAB.
And who's on the committee?
Greg Byrne. So you really think Greg Byrne?
Martin Newton's there too. Martin Newton knows the history. I
can't believe Auburn as a 4 seed got flushed to the region they did, because they shouldn't have been a 4 to begin with. And I understand trying to deflect and stay away from that matchup.
But just to finish what I started here, UConn is 1 in the Ken Pom. Auburn is 4. Then you have 10 right there with Illinois. You've also got 16 in BYU and 21 in San Diego State. You look at the others.
Where's Iowa State, real quick? You haven't even mentioned them.
Oh, excuse me. Iowa State is 5. Iowa State is 5.
So you've got 3 top
1,
5s.
4, 5, 10, 16, and 21, all in the same region right there, according to Ken Pom, which Brownie says all the time is who the coaches look at because they feel that's the best metrics of who the better basketball teams are.
It's clearly not what the committee looks at, because they got Iowa State 8th and they've got Auburn 14th.
Well, who's more important, the coaches that actually study these analytics or the committee? And
the committee. They're the ones seeding the tournament.
I get that, but I'm just saying that something has got to be done if we're putting this much weight into it, because you cannot have 3 top 5s in one region. You can't have 4 top 10s in one region. It doesn't make sense.
But compared to, say, Alabama in the West, Brownie, you've got you have North Carolina's the 1 overall seed in that region. They're 9 in the Ken Pom, so 8 teams better than them on the metrics.
Obviously 4th in the seeding list.
Yeah, Arizona, 2 seed in that region. They're 6th in the Ken Pom.
6th on the seeding list.
Yeah, the 13th team in Ken Pom is Alabama. That's the 3rd highest rated Ken Pom team in that region is Alabama.
Well, that's what's weird.
Everyone else is 14, 23, 20. It's a region that also has 3 teams that are lower seed favored in their games in the first round.
Yeah.
But, Alabama, it seems like the committee looked into those analytics for Alabama, because I thought they were overvalued as a 4. They're not playing like a 4 right now.
But let me ask you this.
They're not. Those metrics are important.
Do you think Auburn fans would be okay with this if they were still the 4 seed in the East playing UConn, but their first round game was in Memphis or Charlotte or even Indianapolis?
Yeah, I mean, because
they would say, okay, yeah, we got UConn, but hey, look, we're close to home. I mean, it's like,
yeah, but it's and I see what you're saying, and there's a point, and you would get a ton of Auburn fans there. But this team wants to win a national championship. You heard the entire week. It wasn't about going and winning 3 there. It's about closing the season with 9 consecutive wins. And I know Alabama fans will probably laugh, but if you watch that Auburn team, the way they're playing right now, they could. Phoenix is not a big stretch, but when you're playing UConn in the first game of the second weekend, that is a lot to ask for a team that's expectation is to win a national championship.
Okay, now I'll say what Alabama gets to do if they were to make it to the Final Four. They get to fly to Spokane, then they can just stay out there, go to Los Angeles to Phoenix, and you never come home. You tell everybody, you were telling me on the phone last night, what Auburn has to do.
Well, Boston is a Thursday-Saturday regional final. The nightmare, let me just give you the nightmare scenario for Auburn. And we don't know if this could happen yet or not. Let's say Auburn, San Diego State, or Auburn, UAB is the late, like TNT, TBS game on Sunday. Because they now have that game, I think it tips at, is it like 6 something it tips at?
Yeah,
the latest Sunday game. I don't know the exact tip time. But they've got that late Sunday game. I mean, you could, in theory, play that game so late that you don't leave till Monday morning. I mean, I think Bruce Pearl and his staff would have to make a decision. Do we want to play the game, bus to the airport, take the red eye back to Auburn, or do we want to sleep in a hotel and just fly back Monday morning?
Or fly straight to Boston.
Or do you just fly straight to Boston? Do you just, if you're Auburn, and I'd be curious to know, we'll ask Steven tomorrow. I know some coaches are superstitious, probably don't like talking about this, but you have to make the plans. If you're Auburn, do you just go and say, we're not even coming back to Auburn?
Do not go back to Auburn.
Because I don't think Alabama, there's any way they would come back to Tuscaloosa.
No.
Alabama, I'm sure, is packing, hoping we are going straight to Los Angeles. Don't even think about coming back to
Why would you
Tuscaloosa.
change your body clock like that?
That's right, yeah.
Because Auburn was talking yesterday. Remember, they stayed and watched in Nashville.
Right.
So it was a late flight back to Auburn. Taylor and I got back. Taylor got back a lot faster than I did.
She was on
By
a
the
flight.
way, you ever ridden with her?
No. Yeah, I have.
I haven't either. I was trying to keep up with her for a while.
Yeah.
I had the Alfa Romeo 88 to 90.
Little tickets
and
after it?
she was pulling away.
Yeah.
If any law enforcement are watching, I'm sure it was within the speed limit. We were on the Autobahn.
Yeah, Jim was going slow.
I couldn't keep up with her. But Auburn got back late last night. They were discussing yesterday about leaving Tuesday to fly out an extra day early to get to Spokane to get their bodies. I don't know what for Alabama or any of them, but
I think
their
it's-
first practice
I
day,
would.
because it's a Friday game, the practice is Thursday. Inside the arena, the stuff you have to do for the NCAA folks, the open practice, the news conferences, is not until Thursday. So a normal trip to, say, Memphis or Charlotte, you would do on a Wednesday.
Well, I would almost fly up Tuesday and give them Wednesday off and let them get acclimated in the same. If they are to advance out of this and they get to Boston, get up there, give them a day off, maybe even 2 days in Boston, and let their bodies get acclimated. I mean, this has got to be a tireder Auburn team right now with not only the way they won those games and playing all the way through the tournament, but just the energy they exerted.
Hey, if I'm Alabama or Auburn, I don't even consider coming back to Tuscaloosa or Auburn. My plan is we're going to Spokane. We're advancing to the Sweet 16. Boys, we're flying straight to L.A. Y'all pack for 2 weeks. And if I'm Bruce Pearl, we're going to Spokane. We're advancing. We are flying straight to Boston. Maybe the Celtics will be in town, and we'll have a team outing for a Celtics game, or we'll go to a Bruins game. Bruce has got those Boston connections, right? That's where we're going. And I don't even consider for 1 minute returning to Auburn or Tuscaloosa.
Wimp's best team in Alabama, I thought, well, at least it had a chance, was the one that ran into Loyola Marymount.
Yeah.
And they were out west.
Yeah, they stayed out west.
And
yeah.
they stayed out there.
The 91 team,
Yeah.
90-91.
Yeah, I can't remember where the first round was. Was it at Long Beach or something like that, or Fullerton, or I don't know. But it was out on the
back
West
when
Coast.
they used to play on campus.
Yeah.
And then they stayed out there and moved up the coast, I believe, maybe to San Francisco.
Maybe it's fuzzy, but I just remember Alabama stayed out there, and that was the smart thing to do. I didn't pay off. Wimp couldn't advance, but I mean, it would make no sense to come back.
Yeah. So for Alabama, Spokane, L.A., Phoenix, if they were to get on a magical hot streak and make it to the Final Four, just stay out west.
Yeah.
The Western Tour for them. All right, show being brought to you by the great folks at the Rump Shaker, LT. That event is coming up very quickly here down at Regents Field. Colon Rectal Cancer Awareness Month is March, and this is a great way right now to keep first of all, the awareness, those that have battled this, but also to raise some awareness for people to get checked out and a lot more.
Yeah, look, and it is, March is flying by. It is coming up this Saturday, the 16th annual Rump Shaker 5K, Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. For more information, rumpshakerinc.org. You can get registered right there. Did you know that colon cancer is second leading cause of cancer deaths in America? It affects men and women equally if you're 45 or older. Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, it's treatable, it's beatable. Early detection is the key. Again, go online, rumpshakerinc.org.
I'll remind Auburn fans, may not want to hear this, but I'll remind it anyway, and it's being mentioned a lot in the chat room there. This is probably a similar discussion that Iowa fans had last year. Like, now, wait a minute, we're the higher-seeded team, and we're going to play Auburn where? Well, it's in Birmingham. Okay, So how far is Birmingham from Auburn? Oh, it's an easy drive.
Yep.
Are there a lot of Auburn fans in the city of Birmingham? Oh, yeah, they're everywhere. Yeah, it's going to be a sellout, trust me. You'll feel like you're playing in Auburn's arena.
And who talked about that? Kelvin Sampson did last year.
He did,
He's like, we're the number one overall seed, and we're having to play Auburn in Birmingham?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a bad draw. And if Broom hits his free throws, who knows what happens.
Now Sampson caught a little bit of a break because of the way the tickets work in the NCAA tournament. That was in the same session as the Alabama-Maryland game. So it was a pro-Auburn crowd, but it was not like playing in Neville. Iowa, we were all at that game.
Yes.
Iowa was playing in Neville Arena.
Yep.
I mean, that was a road game for Iowa, the higher-seeded team.
Yeah.
So,
but to your point, there were a few Alabama fans that were roll Cougs in that game. They were making some noise for Houston.
Yeah. I mean, once Houston started on the roll, the Alabama fans jumped in.
Yeah, and by the way, out in Spokane, because 3 different games involve Alabama teams, a lot of the noise, I would imagine, will be coming from other fan bases from our state cheering against other in-state teams.
And it's going to be a mixture, too. UAB fans against Alabama.
just cheering against everybody.
Yeah, I want the chaos.
I don't know if you guys know this. If you've turned on ESPN, they've got a women's tournament that's going on, too. But I had SportsCenter on for a minute this morning, and they keep pushing all these matchups. But I noticed, because that's all it is women's tournament. Yeah. Apparently, they don't know a men's tournament's going on. But I saw that Alabama is out west for the women's.
Yep.
So they're in Portland, maybe?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked at that bracket yet. I try not to get confused.
Yeah, well, just if you go to ESPN.com or turn on ESPN, you're going to see it. But
it's the men's tournament right there. We're watching it in studio. Men's first round.
Yeah, they finally popped it up. But anyway, my point is they're in Portland. So it's like all of Alabama's teams are just getting shipped as far west as possible.
True, yeah.
I would say
even the football team had to play in the Rose Bowl.
They did.
Yeah. Can we play anything close? Somebody did. I won't say who, but somebody did say in the hallways yesterday outside of the team meeting at Auburn, they were like, I knew eventually we'd pay for getting that Birmingham region last year.
I'm just pointing it out because I know a lot of Auburn fans don't like getting sent to Spokane and being in UConn's region. And given the choice, you'd probably rather have traveled last year and get the favor this year when you're a 4 seed. I get it.
We talk a lot on this show about Ken Pom and metrics, and basketball is just built with metrics. Even more, it seems like more now in metrics than baseball is even. Providence head coach Kim English, whose team was one of the first 4 out, had this to say. It wasn't on live television. I wish it was, but you can see the local news mics. I love it when local news has to pull out the beep machine. Here we go.
Yeah, I think the analytics are bullshit, right? I think you could schedule bad teams in your non-league and beat the snot out of them and beat them by 50 and 60. And I think coaching for so long, it's been a gentleman agreement. I mean, you have a large lead at the end of the game. You know, for health reasons, you take guys out to get some other guys opportunities to play. You take guys out. But right now, it might be a change in college basketball, where beating teams by scheduling to beat teams by 40 and 50 might be a thing to do. But when you get into this league, the analytics aren't going to look very good in league.
Yeah. Wow, shot at his league?
Yeah,
so you take a shot at the Big East?
I think because you get beat up a little bit in the Big East.
Gotcha.
The Big East got 3 teams.
I know, and I thought they were a better conference than that.
The Mountain West got 6.
Yeah.
And if you watch any Mountain West basketball, it's a good league.
Yeah, they're good.
I thought the Big East was too, though.
But, the Big East had 3, including St. John's, and I know we'll get to the Pitino comments in a little bit, that were squarely on the bubble that ended up being on the outside.
Yeah, so it was a there's always people that are upset. And, by the way, we're going to go to 12 here in we had upset Florida State in college football 4-5. We're going to go to 12 this year, and 13 and 14 may be a little upset as well. So the show being brought to you by Storm Restoration Roofing. Brownie will give us those best and worst of the weekend when we come back on the other side. I would imagine a lot of Auburn and UAB championship net cutting in the best of the weekend. I will tell you the best thing you'll do this year is get your roof inspected by Greg from Pell City. 205-542-3531, 542-3531. It's a free, no-cost roof inspection. I can't say that any clearer. Free, no-cost roof inspection. No obligation. Greg from Pell City on Facebook. He'll get up there and check out your roof. Loose shingles can cause you problems. Something as simple as that. Go check that out. I will tell you this as well. Over 20 years, locally owned. He and his wife own the company, and they manage the company. They've got family members that are part of the crews that go on your roof. You cannot beat this trusted organization. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. 205-542-3531. Free no-cost roof inspection. Storm Restoration Roofing or Greg from Pell City.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter @RockstarBHM.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And, of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with Walk-Ons.
It's that time of year again. The Legacy Swap and Drop promotion is back. It's bigger than ever. Swap your current auto loan or RV loan to Legacy and drop your interest rate and monthly payment. Don't miss out on this opportunity to save big with our friends at Legacy Credit Union. Not a member yet? That's okay. You too can save by becoming a member today. Head over to swapanddrop.com. Apply in minutes. That's swapanddrop.com, or visit one of their 9 greater Birmingham area branches. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
I haven't yet.
So you guys have not run through the bracket
No,
yet?
I mean, I've looked through it, but I haven't put completely different than the way I used to do it. I used to immediately fill out a bracket, and then I would go back and make revisions, and by today I would have my bracket in stone, but I haven't even done a run.
I've made one run through. There were a couple regions I did not like, and then I'm not crazy about my champion.
Let me guess. Your first champion, if I'm right about this, would you tell me?
Probably. I mean, I don't know why you guys...
You're going to change it, right?
Oh, I'm not necessarily going to change
you said
it.
You didn't like your champion.
Well, I wasn't crazy about it, but...
I don't want him to influence us one way or another.
Yeah, because I don't even know what you would do. You can guess, and I'm not going to make any facial expression. Yeah. You go ahead and guess, and I'll tell you if you were right.
I saw somebody, one of our listeners last night, one of our viewers, said my first, I think it was Pritch Law maybe, my first run-through on the bracket, Iowa State's my national champion.
Very good at Hilton Coliseum, 9-0 there.
Is that where this tournament's being played?
No, it is not, Brown.
They don't play them there, Brown.
I know they went on a nice little run there in the Big 12 tournament, but teams weren't necessarily healthy, and I think it's a really good Iowa State team.
Did you think Iowa State was my pick?
That's why I threw it out there.
Okay, you thought it was Iowa State?
Yeah, but they're...
Because if I had Iowa State winning it all, that would make me uncomfortable, too.
But they were 4-5 in Big 12 road games.
Yeah. Do Kansas.
Oh, okay, look, Kansas. We haven't. When we saw them whole though against UConn and Houston and Kentucky, they won those games.
Our friends at Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. I'm telling you, Kansas is going to end up costing me this bracket. I just have a feeling because I will not have them going far.
Well,
I think you should have Samford beating them.
I may. Davis watches a lot of basketball.
I don't want to do that to Bucky and the guys. It's hard to. So when I was going through this. 113 or higher seed has won a game in this tournament every year since 2007.
Yeah,
and on average it's 2, but it's almost impossible when you look at those top 16 seeds to say 2 of these are going to be gone in the first round.
By the way, I was told when I was walking back from the bathroom, we've got some developing news at the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. Emily Grace is going to come in here. She's trying to get the information down pat, but at 10 o'clock, developing news that you'll want to hear about the tournaments.
Okay.
Somebody getting fired?
Hope not.
I hope not. You mean up here or coach?
I was talking about coach.
I just got back to Nashville. You guys are trying to get rid of me?
We'll talk to you after the show, Jim.
Precision Sports Medicine and Ortho. Oh, if you're getting rid of me at 12, go ahead and do it now.
I like the day off.
I can go get brunch. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics can get your life back on track, get you back in the game. The opportunity right now to, if you've tweaked something, whether you're playing pickleball or pickup basketball, or whether you're working out again, getting ready for the summer, throwing the weights around the gym, maybe your body's not responding. Precision Sports Medicine, proud part of the Brookwood Baptist Health group up there. Go check them out, 205-512-3885. 205-512-3885, precisionsportsortho.com. They are the folks that will help you get back into the business. precisionsportsortho.com/2024. Orthopedic care, better together. Brownie.
I made the mention on the show last week, and I think you guys kind of agreed. It feels like that first – I was talking about this with Samford. I'm like, if I'm a 3 seed or a 4 seed and Samford pops up on my line and I play that first window on Thursday, I am scared to death. And I brought this up, and you guys feel the same way. It feels like we get an upset in that first window on Thursday.
Yeah, one of those first 4 games out, somebody loses.
It feels like it, doesn't it? Yeah. I can't swear that it happens every year, but we did point out last year Virginia lost to Furman in that first window. So here's your first window. Michigan State, Mississippi State. There is no upset in that game. That's an 8-9 game. Duquesne, BYU. I mean, that's a 6-11. It's
that would be an upset. I mean, Duquesne to play in their first NCAA tournament since 1977, and they had to win the A-10 to get there. That would be an upset.
BYU's favored 8.5 at mybookie.ag.
Keith Dambro, the coach of Duquesne, who coached LeBron in high school.
Yeah.
Isn't that
really?
Crazy? Yep.
I didn't know that story.
Yeah, his assistant head coach was also his assistant head coach
Do you
on the high
think
school
if
team.
we could plug in this 39-year-old LeBron, they would win the tournament?
I would like their chances.
I don't think they would.
I don't know. I think they probably would, but
LeBron with all the other Duquesne players.
The way the NBA is played now, college basketball officials would foul LeBron out.
Yeah,
and
call
traveling.
I mean, preferential treatment for a star player like LeBron. I think it would probably be legit in the NCAA tournament.
You know what would happen? They'd win on Thursday, they'd lose on Saturday because LeBron would sit on Saturday.
Yeah. that is a possibility.
14 seed Akron. 3 seed Creighton. Creighton a 12.5-point favorite at mybookie.ag in that one.
Creighton's good.
Yeah, Creighton is good. And
I agree with you, Creighton's good, but I'm just telling you.
And you could make an argument they've got the best trio in all of college basketball.
Yeah, and then the last game in that window is 2 seed Arizona, 15 seed Long Beach State, where mybookie.ag has Arizona about a 20-point favorite.
Yeah. And
I mean, it's hard to find the upset in that group of games right there.
Incredible story at Long Beach for the 49ers, and I brought this up yesterday in our selection show, but Dan Monson, a guy that left Gonzaga for the Minnesota job and ultimately got fired there and then goes to Long Beach, and they had lost their final 5 regular season games, and they told him before the Big West tournament started up, hey, pack it up. This is your last game. And they thought it would be his last game. And what do? They go out and they win the tournament. So now they're going to be playing a really good Arizona team.
I mean,
that would be a massive upset.
An incredible upset. But if you pull that upset, has Long Beach reversed course yet? On Monson, is he still fired?
Oh, he's still fired.
If they beat Arizona, is he still fired?
If they won the national championship, I don't know how you reverse on that.
No, they did it with Sonny Smith.
They did it with Sonny Smith back in the 80s.
Was that 87, I think, Jim?
Yeah, but the news hadn't even gotten west on Sonny Smith back then. I mean, this
Pony
is,
Express comes in.
Guess what? Auburn coach fired. They just won the conference tournament.
It was like,
you can't find a lot of storylines with this game, but that is going to be the storyline.
Yeah, Birdie says it's a real life major league moment.
It really is.
They've got the ADs cut out there, and they're pulling off pieces of clothing every time they win a tournament game.
I know this.
It's a dude.
This story is dwarfed because we've got the brackets out now. But Ohio State hiring Jake Diebler after going 6-2 as the interim is insane.
I agree with you completely.
I mean, they were talking about guys like Nate Oates were what they were targeting, and you hire the interim guy?
Yeah, I'd rather bring Thad Matta back.
Yeah, I was stunned at that. And they did it quick, too. Like, you can hire that guy at any time.
Yeah, and they haven't been to a Sweet 16 in over a decade, since 2013. They got to get the right guy in there.
A couple of our great sponsors, one of them here, Manscaped, and we'll have one more thing to tell you about the bracket here. Manscaped.
Well, listen, spring cleaning has already started for many of you. You can be a spring cleaning champion with Manscaped and groom all your entire body, the carpets, the drapes, everything, with Manscaped. The Lawnmower 5.0 helps you clean below the waist. Listen, 10 million men worldwide are already trusting Manscaped with the lawnmower and all their other products, and you can too. Manscaped.com. Code TNR at checkout gets you 20% off and free shipping. I use all of their products. I use the Beard Hedger to keep my beard trimmed down 3 times a week. I use the Weed Whacker to take care of the nose hair and the ear hair. And I use the Lawnmower to take care of the rest of the body. It takes care of the full body hair, including the undercarriage there. And it is a great deal. Don't forget the Beard Hedger Pro Kit and the Handyman Electric Face Shaver. The Handyman also is a great travel razor. You can get that right there as part of your spring cleaning deal at Manscaped. Again, 20% off and free shipping with code TNR when you go to manscaped.com. Get that spring cleaning started the right way. 20% off, free shipping with code TNR when you go to manscaped.com. Nothing like a little spring cleaning in your pants and all over your body at manscaped.com, code TNR.
All right. Listen, I feel bad for Oklahoma. I mean, we're going to hear from St. John's coach Rick Pitino in a second. But Oklahoma, in this world of metrics, played in the Big 12.
Good conference.
They did not lose, and check me on this, Brown, but if my reading is correct, Oklahoma did not lose a quad 2, quad 3, or quad 4 game all year long. They were unbeaten in quad 2, quad 3, quad 4. It means their only losses were Q1 losses.
Well, and
they're left out of the tournament.
It's also a 10 that was, they were sub 500, but it was in the Big 12. They were 8-10. They won 20 games overall. They were one of those last ones that were kind of hanging out there. But when you lose 4 of your last 5 games and you lose 6 of your last 8, I know that's not part of the criteria, but if I'm on that committee, it is eye test, and they're just not playing good basketball.
They were 4-12, and that's 16 quad 1 games. And to find any other teams that played that many quad 1 games,
Alabama was 4-10.
Alabama was 4-10. That's 14. Obviously, good math, Brown.
Yeah.
16 quad 1 win game. I was just saying, to find other teams that did that, you pretty much have to look in their conference. Like Houston was 16-3. They played 19 quad 1 games. BYU was 6-8. Baylor was 10-9. They played 19.
Yeah,
that shows you how tough that conference was. But you're right; their only losses were quad 1 losses, but they had 12 of them.
Yeah, but they're all
12.
They're all quad 1s.
I know.
That's insane.
I know.
To be unbeaten in Q2, 3, and 4, and I don't think Texas A&M could say that. And Texas A&M didn't play great basketball down the stretch. Mississippi State, I don't think Mississippi State can say that. And Mississippi State lost like 4 straight before they got to the SEC tournament.
43rd in KenPom. We put a lot of faith in that. They were 43rd. That's a little low.
It is a little low.
For a team that had that kind of quad 1 schedule.
Tough one for Oklahoma. Everyone thought the Big 12 was the best conference all year. They get 8 teams in. The SEC get eight teams in. So equal number there. Michelson will help you see your bracket clearly. Bracket Challenge is available right now, brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. Go to nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. We'll tell you more about that as we move throughout the week. But go right now online. You can fill out your bracket now, nextroundlive.com. If you're watching us, link just got sent into the chat room right there. There's the graphic right there. And you really need our friends at Michelson to be able to see through all the clutter to make sure you've got your Sweet 16 right, your Elite 8 right, and maybe your Final 4 right.
Yeah, did you get the tax refund, or are you going to get one from Uncle Sam? Use it on something that will affect you for the rest of your life. The gift of sight. It seems like everything is going up in price, not for LASIK and Michelson Laser Vision. Dr. Jennifer and Dr. Mark Michelson have held the cost of LASIK steady at the pre-inflation pricing from 2 years ago. So call 205-969-8100, the number that I called. Ask for Amy. Ask her about the pre-inflation pricing. Tell her the next round sent you. Again, 205-969-8100, conveniently located at UAB Highlands. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Man, that's a bold question. But it's got that irresistible taste to back it up. One thing's for sure. When you've got an irresistible, tasty match like zero sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's too bad you can't taste it with your ears, because this Coke Zero Sugar tastes amazing. Truthfully, it's hard to put into words, and that's my job. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar. Best Coke ever?
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunsford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, let's get the headlines right here, brought to you by our friends at Coca-Cola Spiced. Right now, enjoy the taste of the spicy side of life with our friends at Coca-Cola Spice. All the great flavors you've got over the years from our friends at Coca-Cola, but with a little spiced up flavor and a dash of raspberry right now. You got to try it for yourself at your local retailer. Wherever you buy Coke, it's Coca-Cola Spice. I'm about halfway through a morning version of it right now. It is delicious. Try it for yourself right now. Coca-Cola Spice at your local retailer. NCAA tournament, 4 teams from the state of Alabama, 8 SEC teams. That happens. Away from basketball, Denny Hamlin wins in Bristol. Scotty Scheffler wins down at the TPC at Sawgrass Players Championship, 64 to become their first repeat winner or their latest repeat winner.
I think it's first ever.
EG said, somebody in the hallway says second.
I thought it was the first.
Yeah, and so pretty big weekend there for that one. And Justin Fields got traded. We will talk more about that coming up a little bit later in the show. But right now, Emily Grace McWhorter with what has been an hour in the making.
49 years of Players Championship, never been a repeat winner until yesterday.
We got it now. Come on, EG. Well, EG's 0 for 1.
You were at that event, right? Is that what breaking news has to? What do we have here?
All right, this is big.
This is big.
Get excited, everyone. Anyone that places an order between now and midnight on Wednesday will get their entire order refunded if a 15 or 16 seed beats a 1 or 2 seed.
So this is in the Next Round store.
Yes.
Hey, you would have gotten refunded last year.
That's right.
Purdue Dickinson.
Purdue would have gotten you a free order. So any order Next Round store, nextround.store, if a 15 or 16 beats a 1 or a 2,
right?
Listen to that wording. We're not talking about the play-in game.
Not 16 against 16.
No, but a 16 or 15 beats a 1 or a 2, the entire order is refunded.
When we get to the main part of the bracket. So, for instance, I could go order $1,000 worth of TNR gear right now. Yes. And if a 15 or a 16 beats a 1 or a 2,
we give you $1,000 back.
Then I got that gear for free.
Now, I don't know if Tyler came up with this on his own, but he's calling it Merch Madness.
Merch Madness, yes.
That's a Taylor Corn.
Is that a Taylor Corn? Okay.
Taylor Corn came up with Merch Madness.
All right,
There are,
good job by Little T.
1 and a 2 in Purdue and Tennessee that don't have a ton of success under their coaches.
That is accurate, Lance.
And boy, and if either one of those lost this game,
boy, you'd hear about it.
We'll be on the hook up here for some
cash.
Some cash.
Yeah.
Merch Madness.
Merch Madness.
Good job, EG. Thank you.
So, how was the Players' Championship, real quickly?
Come on, back to the fun.
I could talk about this for forever. It was so awesome.
Well, do it.
you do it every year, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what we did for my birthday week.
Can you do it in 60 seconds?
I can do it in 60 seconds. The best margarita ever is tacos on 12. Tacos on 12. You have to get it. It's so good. Get the Bang Bang shrimp taco and then the margarita. And then
God, I'm hungry.
We had seats set up on 17 both days. We brought chairs this year. It was amazing. We saw Scotty, we saw Rory, we saw Ricky, JT, and Jordan before they missed the cuts. We did not see a hole in one on 17, though. We saw one last year. That was kind of sad. And we saw Trevor Lawrence and Cole Swindell.
Cole Swindell?
Yes, I actually said hello to him.
Yeah, I mean, could you tell how big? Trevor Lawrence is a massive human being.
Yes, he is. So him,
Better hair, you or Trevor Lawrence?
Well, I was going to say his hair's longer.
It's so long. It's so long. But
I should say same hair, you and Trevor Lawrence?
There we go. He's a little blonder than I am. But I love that event, and I was asked if golf was my favorite event to watch in person. And I don't know. I think golf tournaments are so much fun. And I love that vibe of a golf tournament because you get to dress up. But football, you can't beat football. And basketball is so awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I was about to say, how long have I known you now? 8 months?
Yes.
8 months. You changed so much. You haven't changed so much. You changed your opinion. You go to a big football game and you're like, this is the best experience ever.
I just love everything.
Then you go to another big sporting event at a different football stadium. You're like, I think this is my favorite experience.
Hot air balloons are the thing.
Yeah. Now it's like, oh, I think this is the best facility I've ever toured. I think this is the best event. Golf.
The best event in golf is there's me. Yes, the best event in golf is TPC Sawgrass. You cannot beat it. The Masters. I know the Masters are great too.
Yeah, but you'll come back in April after going to the Masters.
I'll come back in April after
and
the
you'll
Masters.
say the Masters is my favorite.
So
event.
did you go different hat each day?
No, I stuck with the Masters hat each day.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a different one this year though. So next year.
Isn't that like wearing a Taylor Swift T-shirt to an Ed Sheeran show?
No.
A Grammys hat at the Oscars.
No.
Have you been to the Derby?
No, I'm dying.
I bet.
She just wants to go to the Derby for the costumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of women love going to the Derby. Just wear those crazy ass hats.
She wants to do the Porta John Derby one time too.
That's at the Belmont, right? Yeah, do they do that?
They do it at Churchill Downs.
Yeah, but it's different. Belmont, they try to kill you.
Yeah, Belmont,
they throw bottles at you.
Throw bottles at you.
They do it at Churchill too.
I didn't see it when I was there, but I'm not saying it didn't happen.
There's a comedian from Louisville who tells a great story.
She last year on our local Derby party we had.
Oh, how about that?
All right, EG, thank you.
Good job, EG. Thank you.
If I ever have 60 seconds to live, I want EG to tell the story.
Or Dunaway doing a 15-second spot.
Yeah. Dunaway, of all people, saying that EG is the best part of that.
I get that all the time, so I like to clap back at other people.
Really threw our day off now.
All right. Show is being brought to you also in part today by our friends at Wader Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Hey, I went to Nashville, and Taylor Corn kept me working so hard. I lost 2.5 pounds on the road in Nashville.
Wow.
And that included a brunch with Nashville hot chicken and French toast that we had there, and a couple of cocktails after one Auburn win before we got into Sunday. All that on the road and still dropping a couple of pounds thanks to our friends at Wader Wellness, your journey to healthy living. All you have to do is go see that lady, Leslie, and her board-certified team. Their website is aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com, and absolutely you'll find what you need there to jumpstart your weight loss, maybe to end up controlling your blood pressure or cholesterol if you're getting older. Just wonderful, wonderful folks at Wader Wellness. There's no contract. There's no sign-up fee, and your first consultation is free. That means you can find out what it's all about, without even getting out-of-pocket money. You can learn, I think I like this a lot. I think I can do this. I think this works for me. And then you sign on right there. Planforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. All right, I want to get back to Alabama and their sort of second life here. Rockstar, if you can give me cut number 7. I want you to listen to Nate Oates. We carried this live yesterday on our selection show. But Nate says this about this team. And I think this is important for this Alabama team because remember at one point, were they 13-1 in the SEC or 12-1, 11-1? At one point, they were something to 1 and had a little space.
They did
in first place on the way maybe to a regular season SEC championship that Tennessee ended up winning. And then they were in Nashville as the defending champion, and you'd already seen Kentucky and Tennessee lose earlier in the day. Auburn is the 4 seed up there, had won. And then you take the court against Florida, and then you get beat. So a couple of opportunities to win a championship, the doors had opened up for Alabama, and they slipped away. I think it's important for Alabama to really reset right here. Here's Nate Oates.
It's a new season. A lot of teams are done. There's not that many teams left playing meaningful games. We're treating it like it's a whole new season. And we're playing a really good team. I mean, I've been on the other side of this. You know, I've been a 13 seed playing a 4 at Buffalo and came in and beat Arizona. So I've got a pretty good idea of the mindset of that group, and they're hungry. They I'm sure they can't wait to play us. They're excited. You know, this is a program that's been really good for the last 2 years under Coach Kelsey. So, you know, we're not going to necessarily look at they've won 12 in a row. They're on momentum. We're not. It's the first game of a new season, and who comes ready to play for 40 minutes in that first game?
Yeah, so the right mindset for Alabama. My question is, do you think this team can flush some of their late season missteps and reset mentally?
Well, it is the $1 million question when it comes to this team. I mean, 100-plus points in 9 different games this year. So when the offense is clicking, the offense is really good, and they can just outscore people. But the problem is they're 2-4 in their last 6 games, and in those 6 games, the defense has been awful, giving up 97 points per game. But if you can get to the players and tell them, if you give us a full 40 minutes of effort and they start to hit some of these shots and they get a little rhythm on that offense, with this draw, Alabama can easily they can advance to the second weekend.
Landmine believer, the frustrating thing is we will play good defense for 10 to 15 minutes, talking about Alabama, and a half, and then have a 5-minute stretch that's so effing disastrous it completely undoes the 10 to 15 minutes
He's
of
right.
good defense.
I hear this a lot from Alabama fans. I most recently heard it Saturday at the golf course when an Alabama fan was complaining about the Florida game the night before, and he's like, I love Nate. Trust me. He's like, I am so glad we locked him up and are keeping him. He said, I just wish he'd mix a zone in every now and then.
You know, it was so weird yesterday in the Florida game. Like, I was trying to figure out, you know, who it was a substitution, and Taylor and I had, you know, great seats courtside there. And I was like coming out of a timeout, and I was trying to see who Auburn was pairing up with who. And then the Florida players started moving around. The Auburn players weren't moving around. I was like, they're in a freaking zone. Yeah. I have not seen a zone in forever.
and I told him, I was like, you know, I mean, he had this same philosophy last year when they were a pretty elite defensive team.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't think it's his approach. I just think he just doesn't have, I don't know if the players aren't buying in. I don't know what it is, man. I think Nate Oates is probably confused by it. I certainly am. It's like people start questioning his approach. I'm like, this approach has worked for Nate Oates for a very long time. He's never played zone. He's a man-to-man guy.
It's a wonderful style of basketball, and I think recruits gravitate to it. Great recruiting class coming in. But when the offense struggles, it's a hard watch. Just like when you watch a hurry-up offense in football, paced offense in football, when it gets out of sync, it is a hard watch.
Well, it's like, you know, Virginia, and when they struggle, that is a terrible watch because their style offensively is the complete opposite of Nate Oates.
And they keep everybody in the game when it's 60-56, right?
Yeah, so look, as long as you're winning, whatever your style is great. I do agree. I mean, the recruits love this when, half your possessions, you're shooting threes, you're playing at that pace.
And nobody yells at you. They yell at you when you don't take a shot.
Right. Oh, yeah. Everybody's got the green light when they're out there.
Yeah. Can I ask this question? And you guys may watch it closer than me. Late in the season, did it feel like, I'm sure Mark Sears was very important on the defensive scheming of opponents, but when Alabama late in the year started playing the best teams in the SEC, did it seem like they had a better plan on just making life rougher on Mark Sears? I don't know if it was doubles, brackets, what. It almost seemed like they really needed Ryland or, anyone else to step up, Estrada.
But Sears was still 22, 23 points every single game.
He was, but it just didn't seem like it was the important, like the 33 he got on the blowout loss at Florida.
Yeah.
Those, I don't want to say it called garbage points.
A lot in the final 10 minutes when the game was decided.
It felt like it was garbage points.
Yeah, it was a box score packer, huh?
It just didn't feel like the late season 2021 was as important points as they were earlier in the year. He still got his numbers, but they didn't seem to come at really big moments in the game. It just seems like it's gotten tougher for Mark Sears to do his job late in the season. I just wonder if some of the better defenses caught up in it. JD is in Huntsville. He is next with us with a thought on the tournament. I assume he's talking about the NCAA and not the SEC. What is up, JD?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, a couple of things about the weekend. We went to Nashville for my son's 11th birthday. Got to take him to the Alabama game. He enjoyed the experience. It was great up there, people. But I got to tell you, you guys are right. You're talking about Kentucky, the way they dominate the tickets. That Friday night game was the highest priced ticket of the weekend, I think.
Yeah.
I think we ended up spending almost $200 a ticket. And then I guess the finals was what you said, like 120 or
Well,
something?
that was the get-in. I think the good seats in the finals were about $350 a pop.
Wow. It's just crazy the way they dominate. But, listen, I'm hopeful. I'm always optimistic about Alabama's chances. But the way they finish the season, it won't shock me, man, if they don't go out this first-round game because they just don't have a rim protector to keep people out of the lane. And whenever the way to counter when people can get the paint on you, you got to make them pay because whenever a point guard takes the ball to the basket, what usually happens? He's underneath the basket while the other team's guard is taking off and getting an easy basket down the court. We don't do that. I say we. Alabama doesn't do that. So I don't know, man. They look like they're slow. They're a little injured. There's something with Sears. I think you guys were saying that before about there's something going on with him being injured or something, but they do have a better, I'll tell you that. It's crazy how those things happen, but I'm not very hopeful about Alabama's chances.
All right. Thank you, JD.
And Charleston does have some size. They've got a 6'10" dude from Croatia, one of their starters. They've got another 6'7" guy.
I will say
they've got a little bit of size.
Yeah, they're 100th in the country in offensive rebounds, 214 in defensive rebounds. So that size hasn't necessarily translated to them owning the boards.
The West, it was a good draw for Alabama, but I think by the time we finish the opening weekend, that we will see more upsets in the West than we do in any other bracket.
Well, you were pointing out, let me just correct myself before I get too far away from this. They're 21st. I was giving you their opponent numbers. They're 21st offensively rebounds, 75th defensively rebounds.
So they're really good.
Height, really good offensively. That height has helped a little bit. You were giving like the NCAA seeding numbers versus the KenPom numbers, and they appear to vary more in the West than they do anywhere else in any other region.
Exactly.
Which would tend to indicate there would be more upsets. I would agree with you on that.
Looking at it, though, if we're just going first round only, there's not a ton of opportunities for upsets.
Well, I think
just because there's so many basically coin flip games in the West.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, coin flip games. But what that does, that ends up, it's a coin flip game, but you may end up having, a 12 advance, or you have
and look at Mississippi State and Michigan State have both been highly inconsistent this year, But, I mean, I'm not going to be completely floored if one of those knocked off a 1 in North Carolina.
That's right. But Michigan State, I think, opened up as a 9 seed, as a favorite over the 8 seed. Slight, those are supposed to be close.
That's a brand thing.
Yeah. New Mexico opened as a favorite 11 versus Clemson.
Yeah, and look, Clemson's probably playing their worst basketball right now, and New Mexico probably playing their best basketball.
And then Nevada's a 10, and they open up as a favorite over number 7 Dayton. So in that region, you have 9-8.
10-7, 9-8 are coin toss anyway.
11-6.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but there are 3 of the virtual double-digit seeds that are actually favored to win the game. So it's not technically an upset unless you're on that selection committee. And Mount West is good, and they got a lot of lower seeds there. So that West, it could be the Wild West by the time we get to the second weekend.
When we talk about the 8 teams in the SEC, you and I have got the number is 3.5 teams advancing to the second weekend. The more you look at this, do you feel better or worse?
I feel better.
Okay.
Is that what you wanted me to say?
Oh, no. I mean, I was just wondering because, when we made the bet, I thought it was probably going to be 6, maybe 7 teams, and I didn't realize the SEC was going to get 8 teams.
Yeah, but look, I think Auburn can beat UConn.
I do too.
Yeah, but they don't have to play UConn to get to the Sweet 16, right?
No,
they don't play
that
them
would
to
be
get
the game they play once they're in the Sweet 16.
So that doesn't help my stake. I think Auburn can get there, right?
So, I mean, do you have Auburn in the Sweet 16?
I have not filled one out
No,
yet.
but I'm just saying, would you lean that way right now? Not holding you to it. Okay, so there's one.
Yes, I can change this.
Right.
I don't have Mississippi State getting there.
Yeah, I would not either.
Yeah, I at this point don't have Alabama getting past St. Mary's, but maybe I do. Maybe I changed my mind there.
I mean, Alabama's going to be favored in if they beat Charleston, either St. Mary's or Grand Canyon, they will be favored in that game.
Yep. Who else is a good matchup? Texas A&M. I don't have them getting past Nebraska. And then I definitely don't have them getting past.
Well, I'll tell you what, the A&M team I watched play against Kentucky the other night is a really good team. And I know Kentucky does not get a lot of stops.
That A&M team not only against Kentucky, the first 20 minutes against Florida.
Yeah, I mean, that team's playing pretty well right now.
Kentucky, Texas Tech will be a tough game, but I could have Kentucky advancing out there. Florida, I would have easily have had to the Sweet 16 until they get a 7 seed now. They'll have a tricky first game, but then they get Marquette. But Florida could make it.
That's still tough.
Yeah, but it's a tough go. South Carolina, I've got no faith in. I think they're a lazy basketball team. And then Tennessee.
It's amazing. Once you get on a hill, you will not let it go.
Tennessee got a good draw. I mean, Texas is a 7 seed. Texas is not a good basketball team.
Yeah, and look, again, the sense of humor for the committee. Tennessee advancing, Texas advancing. Rodney Terry's taking a lot of heat right now. Yep. And Rick Barnes taking a lot of heat for the lack of success as Tennessee's head coach in the NCAA tournament. That would be an interesting second-round matchup.
Them and Purdue potentially playing to go to the Final Four is hilarious.
Yeah,
it really is.
I would tell you it will come down to Alabama and Florida. Either one of them getting to the Final Four to win it for you, in my opinion. I think Tennessee will be there. Probably Kentucky and Auburn will be to the Sweet 16. So either Alabama or Florida. And I think Florida lost a big part of their he wasn't a big numbers guy, but he's a big part of their rotation, a rim defender. But Florida can still get there. That's
I think the number is, it's going to be a fun bet because I think the number is 3 or 4.
Yeah. All right. Show being brought to you by our friends at Redmond Vodka. Always enjoy the tournaments. You sit back and watch the games with a little cocktail, Redmond Vodka.
Yeah, and Charles Barkley's Final Four bracket, it is out. You can check out Redmond Vodka online, and you get registered for that bracket challenge, as well as ours here at the next round. But it's a local product, locally owned and operated. It's gluten-free. It's 8 times distilled, available at your package store and ABC stores, Beverage Place, Pink Package. Pick up a bottle. It's available in 22 states. Ask for it by name. It is Redmond Vodka.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Ready to swap from your current auto or RV loan provider and drop your interest rate? Now is your chance. With Legacy Credit Union's annual swap and drop promotion, you can swap your current loan and save with Legacy in minutes. Whether you're a member or a potential member, Legacy Credit Union is here to help you drive into savings. Go online to swapanddrop.com or visit one of their 9 locations to take advantage of this incredible offer. Limited time offer, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th Annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you, 969-8100 or Michelson. LaserVision.com.
Visit nextroundlive.com today. It's free, unless you haven't paid your internet bill. So go ahead and pay that, and then it's free. Heck, you can pull out your phone and go to nextroundlive.com right now, where you'll find all the free content that you can stomach. Unless you haven't paid your phone bill, then you need to pay that, and then you can enjoy all the free content. NextRoundLive.com is so rewarding that it should be behind a paywall, like Lance's Lock. So in summary, play Lance's Lock. Then you'll have enough money to pay your bills, and go to NextRoundLive.com, where you're always at your happiest, for free.
Okay, we roll on now. 4 Downs coming up in just a second. Show being brought to you, though, by our friends at mybookie.ag. They also bring you the Bracket Challenge. Before Brownie tells us about some opening lines on Auburn and Alabama, UAB, Samford, some others he finds interesting in the NCAA tournament, I want to remind you, with the graphic assistance right here from Forrester on cue, man, that guy can run the point. That guy runs the point. Next Round Live Bracket Challenge is up right now, powered by MyBookie. Where do you get that, Jim?
Where do you get it, Jim?
If you've already signed up for alerts and stuff, chances are good you've already received a link. But if you have not, go to nextroundlive.com. Nextroundlive.com, you'll see that icon there. Click on it, and you can play the Bracket Challenge right there. Learn all the details and everything thanks to our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's the Next Round Live Bracket Challenge. And they also a great place for you to enjoy the NCAA tournament.
Kansas, 7.5-point favorite over Samford. Smaller than most would have thought.
What is it again?
7.5. Oh. It's a skinny number, Lance.
I thought it would be around 12.
Yeah, skinny number. UAB.
Oh, hey, does the slipper fit?
UAB, 7-point dog to San Diego State in 5-12.
That's a massive dog. San Diego State should have been like 3.5 or 4. So I at least on the surface doesn't look good for UAB based on what that number is.
Auburn, a 13-point favorite over the smart kids from Yale. And
Yale's lucky to be in. 61-60, time ticking down.
I was so pissed.
Tick.
We had Yale at lanceslog.com minus the 6.5, and they blew the lead. And I was pulling for Brown to get to the NCAA tournament. Yale's been there before, and both teams are not very good.
Right.
But that was one of the weirdest final shots. I don't know if you guys were watching.
I was not.
I saw the highlights.
Yeah, but the dude was just wide open, and that's a difficult shot to make because it's right off the block. It was like an 8-footer and just straight in, and he kind of hesitates before he shoots it, and he knows it's either in or out.
Yeah.
And it's either we go to the NCAA tournament or season's over.
And he sort of short-armed it.
Yeah, that's a tougher than advertised shot to make.
Alabama 9.5 Favorite over College of
That's
Charleston.
about right.
That's at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to mybookie.ag, and you get that sign-on bonus. Good time to do it with the tournament coming up. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. They also got casino games. You can play all the NCAA tournament games, NBA, Major League Baseball cranking up. You could have played the Players' Championship over the weekend, all the PGA Tour stuff, NASCAR, all right there at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code next round to get that sign-on bonus. So you can play with that right away at mybookie.ag. Mybookie.ag, code next round.
Okay, before we get to 4 downs here, I want a little reaction on Justin Fields. Now, I caught, when I was doing my grid walk outside Bridgestone the other day, you guys started off my final hit with Aaron Donald retiring. I can tell by your face you're still not over that.
Well, it's just, the timing's tough. And, and I said this, all my years of fandom, 40-plus years, and I've watched a ton. This is more like Alabama-Auburn. For those fans that put that much into it, that's been me with the Rams. And this is probably the greatest Ram I've ever seen from start to finish.
3-time defensive MVP. Yep. The only other guys who done that were J.J. Watt and Lawrence Taylor.
Wow. Yeah. It's pretty good company there.
Pretty good company.
Well, and like everybody said, Lance, he walks right off the rims and right into Canton. It's just the 5-year wait. That's all you got to worry about.
Yeah, and selfishly, look, he deserves 99 to call his shot and shut it down whenever he wants. But it would have been more ideal on the front end of free agency if he would have let Les Snead and Sean McVay know, you know what, not going to be around next year.
On the flip side of that, we now know the Bears are drafting a quarterback.
Caleb Williams.
Because they traded Justin Fields to the Steelers for a 6th round that will turn into a 4th round pick if Justin Fields plays 51% of the snaps. Does anybody think Justin Fields will go in there and lose this job to Russell Wilson?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin already told him.
Oh, absolutely.
Mike Tomlin told Russell Wilson it's his job, which I think is a mistake. I brought this up. Matt Stafford might have a year or two, and not to make this all about the Rams. I know I typically do that. But might have a year or two left. And I said if the Rams could get Justin Fields, I like where his game is, and I think he's going to be a really good quarterback. I didn't realize you could only give up a 6th round. This is an absolute steal if you believe he is going to be a good quarterback. I think the Bears had to do it. I don't know. They probably could have gotten more than that. I think they've got to draft Caleb Williams. But if I'm Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh with Arthur Smith, a new offensive coordinator coming in, these guys are battling. To go on and tell Justin Fields you're just going to be learning behind Russell Wilson, in my opinion,
you like that
is a mistake.
Oh, I think
it's a mistake.
So too.
I think you let the guys compete. You're paying Justin Fields a lot more money than you're paying the $1.2 million to Russell Wilson.
That's right. I think Russell Wilson should mentor Justin Fields at the end of his career here.
Yeah, but to answer your question, yes, I'm surprised if Justin Fields gets 51% of the snaps.
And Kenny Pickett's time in Pittsburgh is over. Right?
I would have to think.
No, they traded him, didn't they?
They did, yeah. And he goes to Philadelphia. And you start to look at these quarterbacks now that have been traded, like Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett, and guys that were starting quarterbacks, and they look to have a future. And for me, I don't think either one of those guys – it's not necessarily a fair shot, in my opinion. Mac Jones had freaking Matt Patricia as your offensive coordinator. You look at how bad Matt Canada's offense was in Pittsburgh for Kenny Pickett. I just don't think these guys have gotten fair shakes.
Yeah. Well, do you think Pickett battles Jalen Hurts for the job?
I would have.
No, I don't think so either.
Well, I would have said absolutely no last year, but that offense really faltered down the stretch.
Yeah. So interesting movement in the NFL, and trust me, that ain't over yet. It'll continue on and on and on. 4 downs brought to you by our friends at Slice. Tell us about Slice, LT, and then we'll hit the first down.
I am going to be at a private event tonight at the Homewood location in Slice, and it might open later this week. Had an opportunity to tour it last week. Really excited about that. The original location I went to on Saturday in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo Crestline Park. And again, coming really, really soon, sooner than later, to Homewood. Get in and see the Bajalia Brothers, local pizza, local ingredients. Tell them the Next Round sent you.
First down.
2 big jobs open right now. If I asked you could have either one, what is the better job, Louisville or Michigan?
Michigan for me, because of it's in the Big Ten already. I don't know what the future for Louisville athletics is as we continue to shuffle football. But I love the Yum Center over, is it the Chrysler
Arena?
Yep,
yeah. Louisville's got everything going for it better except conference.
Yeah. I do feel like I can get more booster money with Michigan. That Yum money is tied to one group of people.
Yeah, but I think they favor basketball over football, which you don't get at Michigan.
Man, I think this is like almost too close to call.
I do too. I think in my opinion, the only thing Michigan has in favor is they're in a better conference. I think everything else goes to Louisville.
But if you tell me Louisville,
the conference is very important.
Yeah, if you tell me Louisville ended up in the SEC or the Big Ten,
I'd take Louisville in a heartbeat.
Then I would take Louisville in a heartbeat.
But you know, the Big Ten is yours to own. You know, USC and Oregon and Washington and UCLA, those basketball programs are all down right now. I know Oregon just won the Pac-12 championship, but you know, you had 4 major guys transfer from Dana Altman's program last year, so nobody really expected they would be where they are. And you look around the Big Ten right now. You know, Illinois just won the conference. Can Purdue continue to create this magic with these bigs? And can they continue to have an NIL? Like, to me, Michigan could own this conference in basketball. Ohio State just hired their interim coach. Like, this is a conference you can own right now.
Yeah, that's a great point. Where Louisville ends up, but I'm going to go Michigan right now. Another thing is Louisville, they don't really own their state. I don't know how important that is for Louisville. It never really has been. Michigan owns their state.
In basketball, you think
and
they
not
do,
in
though?
basketball,
Yeah.
but in
football they do for sure.
All the political
yeah.
things that matter. Michigan owns their state.
True Blue on Facebook says, don't overlook Michigan has history. Louisville's got pretty good history.
Yeah, I mean, both do. I mean, Louisville's won 3 national championships. Michigan, maybe 2.
But it was, I think the release of the Nate Oates contract extension was timed because obviously his name was going to pop up for both of those jobs.
And Ohio State. I mean, he was in the mix and probably could have had any of those 3 jobs if he wanted it.
Yep.
Second down.
Speaking of Nate Oates in Alabama, if I gave you more wins in the tournament, the combination of in-state Samford, UAB, or Alabama?
I mean, one could win it for Alabama easily. So I'll take Alabama.
I'll take Alabama. Sadly, it could be 0 too, and I hope that's not the case.
Well, yeah, I mean, that could be 0 across the board.
Yeah, I've got a feeling Alabama might shake the cage a little bit here, just based on draw.
Shake the cage is a good thing as
It's a
opposed
good thing.
to poop the bed.
So you see
poop the bed.
Yeah. And you know, if Kansas isn't 100%, I think Samford could make that really interesting. I think UAB, when they're playing their best like they did Saturday in spurts against South Florida, I think they are as good or better than San Diego State. I just got a feeling San Diego State wins that game. I would take Alabama here.
Yeah, I would too.
Third down.
A couple of celebrity birthdays, and boy, these are stretches. Queen Latifah, 54. Better Queen. Patrick Queen, now of the Pittsburgh Steelers, or Queen Latifah?
Queen Latifah's the equalizer, man.
Yeah, she is the equalizer to Rockstar's point.
One of the biggest jokes in the world.
As Bobby always says in the chat room, best comedy on TV. Queen Latifah is the equalizer.
And she's wearing like tight leather. She's like a size 14.
I've never seen that show, but I've seen the promos. It looks silly.
Well, I mean, you know the premise, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
that's all you really have to know.
So as a kid, I watched the original Equalizer, and I forgot who the British actor was. But, you know, he looked like he was on Medicare. And then you get Denzel, the early Equalizer. He looked like a badass. Now, in Equalizer 3, I don't know if you guys have seen it, he is aging a little bit.
Yeah, they should not have gone franchise. Equalizer, great single movie.
Yep, they should have let it go.
I am going to say Queen Latifah's had a better career than Patrick Queen, though.
Patrick Queen was a Buckets finalist.
Yeah, good, nice career.
Was the MVP, defensive MVP of the championship game, won a national championship with. He's making a lot of money. He's been really good, coming off 100 tackles, 100 plus tackles.
He's a good player.
Was with the Ravens, just got traded to the Steelers. Probably going to have some good years there in Pittsburgh.
I would think.
Yeah, with the history there. I'm going to go Patrick Queen, but Queen Latifah's music is where her.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know. What has she done musically?
UNITY is the only thing I can ever imagine what she did. I think now she's more. I don't even know if she's ever. When the last time she recorded an album, she's more known for acting now.
Yeah, I think she made the switch. I think the movie was like House Sitter with Steve Martin, something like that.
She was in Sphere.
I did not realize
she got destroyed by some jellyfish.
Queen Latifah.
Fourth down.
Queen Latifah's top songs. You can't stop the beat. UNITY. Walk the Dinosaur. She did Walk the Dinosaur.
She did Walk the Dinosaur?
It's her third. I don't think she did it originally, but it's her third highest. So that shows you where her music is.
God, I hated that song, Walk the Dinosaur, but I don't think it was Queen Latifah originally.
So Adam Levine, 45 today. If I asked you better career, Adam Levine or Bryan Adams?
Like
Brian Adams.
Like
I don't-
summer of
I don't-
'69.
I don't
Brian
know,
Adams?
yeah.
Brian Adams, that was that Waking Up the Neighbors. He owned, what was it, when the Robin Hood? That Robin
I mean,
Hood
that
he had a good
was-
run in the 80s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that was 1991. Everything
that
I
whole
Do.
album.
Yeah, I like that song.
And that thing blew up. I mean, it was number one
Everything I
all over the
do.
place for a long time. But Adam Levine, from Maroon 5 to what he's doing with The Voice,
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I think it's tight. I would lean Adam Levine, but
I'm going to go Adam Levine as well. My wife cannot stand people who sing like Brian Adams.
Everything I do.
Good Brian
The
Adams
raspy
stories.
voice.
Yeah.
The Kerry King karaoke video with James Corden. Somebody asked him, like, what was the worst one? He's like, when we first started this, we booked Brian Adams and we got him in the car. He did not really understand the concept and he refused to do karaoke of his own songs. He said we had to trash it. Like he
wouldn't do his own songs.
Like he was blind.
Yeah.
I'm not singing that. Oh, we're gonna do Summer '69.
so first big hit, Cuts Like a Knife.
No, we're not.
That's probably pre-You, Rocky, but that was in the 80s.
Run to
and
You?
the big MTV
Oh, wait.
days.
He did Run to You?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I mean, he had
Brian Adams had a good
slew
career. Yeah.
of hits in the 80s.
Oh, he was in there with Sting and Rod Stewart doing All for One and All for Love.
Oh, that's right.
Three Musketeers.
But, I read this morning, and this doesn't seem Brian Adams-like, he was the front man at 15 for a glam rock band.
It's also Canadian.
And that's how he got his start.
What was the movie that Peter Cetera did that song for?
Glory of Love?
Yeah, Glory of Love. That was
Karate Kid 2.
Oh, Karate Kid 2, yeah. I like that song.
That was the
Yeah.
they fought to the death.
Yeah.
I liked Glory of Love. I'm not going to apologize for it. That was a good song.
Good. Thank you for not
Yeah, I will not apologize, Rexter.
That is our 4 downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, 4 great locations. Soon to be that 5th location in Homewood. Local pizza, local ingredients from the Soul Pie, the Wing and a Prayer, the Hot Mama, the Bajaga Special. You're going to absolutely love it. Get into one of those locations today. Tell the Bajaga Brothers the next round sent you.
By the way, before you tell us about Odie's, LT, 29 years ago today, who said, I'm back?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Incorrect.
29 years
No,
ago
he said, I'll be
today.
Michael Jordan.
That would have been
Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
29
95.
Wow,
Michael
29
Jordan.
years, huh?
Yep. Did they go on and win the NBA championship?
Yeah, are you
Remember
sure
he was
about
number-
this?
29 years ago today, he came back to the NBA, finished the season, went to the playoffs, won a first-round game, got eliminated by Shaq and Penny in the second round of the playoffs. The next year, his first full season back, they went on to win.
Okay,
the
That's
because-
right. He came back mid-season. I forgot about
Because
that. Yeah.
29 years ago was 1995. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that was the summer he played for the Barons. So that's where my confusion was.
Yeah, this is when he's back today.
He wore
played
his
partial season.
He wore his 45 jersey, and the first game he wore his shorts on backwards. Because remember they focused on they had a huge close-up going, his shorts are on backwards. He must be so nervous.
Yep.
So the gambling suspension ended today, 29 years ago.
I still can't believe that hadn't come out.
Well, I mean, David Stern's been asking about it. He's like, so you really think I would suspend Michael Jordan?
The moneymaker.
No,
at
it
the height of his career.
doesn't make sense, but maybe he's one of the few that believes in an NDA.
I don't know.
Yeah. So 95, they got 25 years ago today. 29 years ago today, they were, I'm back, and then they get eliminated by the Magic. Then the next year, they go on to win the title.
Jordan strikes me, now a billionaire, is a guy that sleeps in a little bit and has a pretty good life right now.
Oh, yeah. But he's a billionaire, right?
Even with a divorce.
Well, there was the story. He got caught up in that GameStop thing and lost a ton of money, which is why he had to sell his portion of the Hornets.
Hornets, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not, but supposedly he got tied up in that GameStop deal.
Speaking of getting tied up in something,
Yeah, did you get tied up in something?
interesting Bruno Mars story.
Oh, I've seen this.
Coming out of Las
Yeah.
Vegas and trash today.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
I don't have it printed. It wasn't printed. It was one of those weird stories. So if I forget it, remind me. But it is
Okay.
very, very fascinating.
That's 45 minutes from now. Odie's bringing you that part of the show. Odie's, your perfect place for lunch or dinner today, but also trivia on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, every Wednesday night we'll be at the original location in Crestline. Come join us. Great food from Rodney Davis for more than 3 decades now. From the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches like that Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Now, the newest location in Edgewood, corner of Oxmoor and Broadway. Stop in, see Will Haver and that great staff. It's Odie's Tavern.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Hey, Rockstar, can you get cut number 5 ready to go here? Before you tell us about Bandwagon Brownie, I want to share, it was during this interview with Chad Baker-Mazara. I don't know if it's after the end of this bite right here or during this bite. But, this is the first hat I've worn in over a week because I'm trying to get people used to the fact that I'm bald, in case you didn't know.
I think people have known that for a while.
Yeah, I don't think it's a shock to anyone.
So Little T can tell you the story better than me because I didn't see it happening. But while I'm interviewing Chad Baker-Mazara, he's sitting down in the locker room, and I'm on one knee, and the Auburn players are full of personalities, right? They cut up all the time. So while I'm interviewing Chad Baker-Mazara, 3 Auburn players come up behind me, and they start warming their hands like the top of my bald head is a campfire on top of my head. He catches a glimpse of it and loses it during the interview. And I asked our friends from ABC 30 through 40 and CBS 42 who were there, and a couple of the Auburn beat writers and rivals if they had video of it, because we wanted to pair his reaction to the players.
God, I wish it existed.
This is almost like elder abuse.
I took it as a compliment that they were having fun. They were used to, because my credential literally said Jim Dunaway, University of Alabama, on my credential, because I was on the broadcast team and I had a different color badge than everyone else, so I could go on the court if I wanted to. But it was from Alabama because I did the radio. So I'm in the Auburn locker room, and they were tremendously nice to me all weekend. And we had some really fun interviews with those players. They're just great personalities. But yeah, it's funny. I have and when I'm, in a social situation, I can get blood in my face, and I'm sure the top of my head was really red. And so they were warming their hands on my bald head there. And I turned around because they fell out on the floor, and I turned around. I didn't know what they had done, and Taylor said, "Yeah, they were making fun of your bald head."
Well, it's surprising because you seem to wear hats more when we're out of town. Is that fair?
Yeah, but I was on this trip, and I was like, I'm just going to be bald on this trip.
Okay.
Yeah,
just on that trip.
Left the toupee at home, left the hat at home. But what was amazing, and Taylor and I made it to every reverse Tiger walk, or we did the last two. And the lobby at the Westin was fairly full on the semifinal day, but then we showed up yesterday, and I would guess about 2,500 Auburn fans inside and outside of the Westin for a reverse Tiger walk, and then you get inside the stadium, and I would say there was 16,000 Auburn fans in Bridgestone, almost doubling what they do at a normal home game. And I asked Chad Baker-Mazzara about that feeling from the hotel to the game.
More people here than could fit into Neville that were Auburn fans. What did that mean to you?
To be honest, it felt like a home game today. Like, you know, when we was out there on the bench, me, Denver, and Aiden was talking about it, like, hey, yeah, we at home. Yeah, I see this orange everywhere, you know, and we hear Auburn chants, so, you know, it really felt like playing at Neville, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, and it made a difference in the game, I thought. When Florida cut it to 1 and Bruce burned his next to last time out, I was like, this could get interesting right here. And then, boom, it come out. I think it was a couple of Cardwell dunks, some big plays, and then the rest is SEC championship history now.
You could tell watching at home the Auburn influence and the factor the crowd was. But talking to Alabama fans, and boy, Alabama fans are disgusted right now. Like going up to Nashville, the one and done, coming back, and they were like, that town was overrun with Auburn.
Yeah. And it got only more as the weekend went on, right? Because a lot of people drove up.
Well, you wake up and Kentucky's done. Why would you not?
Yeah, you're going up there. Bandwagon can keep you in the game, man.
You saw them on national CBS yesterday, right there hosting that Samford championship party there and their berth into the tournament. That's what Bandwagon does, man. They're your community sports store. And the place you saw on CBS is their new store right there in Edgewood. It is next door to Odie's on Oxmoor Road. So when you're dining in Edgewood, stop by Bandwagon for the best in sporting goods and apparel. Spring break is coming up. I was in there the other day. They've got great swimmies from swimsuits. I wouldn't call them swimmies because men wear them. I don't know why I call them swimmies. Weirdest thing I've done here in a while. Chubby's and Michael's, water sports games, toys to keep your family entertained for the entire trip. Next Round Family, jump on the bandwagon. You can see more at bandwagonsports.com.
I will tell you that the Big East feels slighted, only getting 3 teams in. But St. John, Seton Hall, and Providence were their metrics didn't measure up. So that was interesting.
Well, those 3 teams are. But I mean, they're average teams.
Does that worry you a little bit about UConn and Marquette and those teams that if they say, the rest of your conference just isn't good, but now you guys are real. I mean, does that worry you?
Doesn't worry me about UConn. Now, look, and UConn lost 2 massive parts to the championship team from last year. But the way Klingon is playing right now, I mean, he is a legit 7-2. UConn, it doesn't scare me. Maybe for some of the others.
Are you still riding that Marquette train?
I think Marquette is a threat,
and I think Creighton's really good.
Yeah,
you know, Creighton. We forget last year they lost on a heartbreaking last-second shot against San Diego State in the regional final. Creighton would have been in the Final Four last year, and they've got their 3 big pieces back.
Our Rump Shaker start time update before LT tells about Rump Shaker. Richard Hendrix at the top of the hour, betting favorites to win the national championship that are under 20-1. UConn is the favorite. Houston is second. Purdue, Arizona, Tennessee, and Auburn. Those are the only ones that are under 20-1 to win the national championship. UConn, Houston, Purdue, Arizona, Tennessee, Auburn are the only ones under 20-1.
I don't feel like guaranteed one of those wins it. I mean, I would take those against the field, but I could see a couple of other teams that can win this national championship.
SEC start times and Samford and UAB brought to you by our friends at the Rump Shaker event. Michigan State, Mississippi State, 11:15 on Thursday. Oregon, South Carolina, 3 o'clock on Thursday. Oakland and Kentucky, 6:10. St. Peter's and Tennessee, 8:20. And Samford, Kansas, 8:55 on Thursday. On Friday, UAB and San Diego State at 12:30. Yale and Auburn at 3. All these times are Central. Colorado State and Florida at 3:30. Texas A&M and Nebraska at 5:50. It's the Trev Alberts Bowl in that one. We talked about that one earlier. Also the same matchup on the women's bracket.
Yeah,
Texas A&M and Nebraska. Yep. And then at 6:35, it is Charleston and Alabama. Rump shaker events, very important to us.
Yeah, did you realize that colon cancer is second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're 45 or older, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, it's treatable, it's beatable. Early detection is the key. For more information, visit rumpshakerinc.org. And remember, it's coming up this weekend, the 16th annual Rump Shaker 5K, Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. To get registered and for more information, rumpshakerinc.org.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at legacycreditunion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCAA.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Let me introduce you to the new line of Red Wing athletic work shoes. This great new line is perfect for the industrial athlete, the guy who is working on concrete or running through the warehouse all day long. Red Wing Athletics use the same technology found in a running shoe, with soft mesh uppers, a lightweight aluminum toe for protection, and non-slip soles. This shoe is a winner. This comfortable new line of safety shoes are perfect for warehousing and light manufacturing. Plus, the colors look great. Stop by your local Red Wing shoe store, have your feet measured, and test drive a new pair of Red Wing athletic work shoes.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Man, that's a bold question. But it's got that irresistible taste to back it up. One thing's for sure. When you've got an irresistible, tasty match like Zero Sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's too bad you can't taste it with your ears, because this Coke Zero Sugar tastes amazing. Truthfully, it's hard to put into words, and that's my job. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar. Best Coke ever?
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show starts with Richard Hendrix, always this hour, brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Unbelievable chicken, hand-cut chicken fingers, and so much more. Cooked to order. It's right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew down there, champyschicken.com.
All right, you see him on the SEC Network and ESPN. Richard Hendrix is with us, former Alabama great now, on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Richard? How are you today?
Doing great, guys. Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we always appreciate you coming on. Let's start with Auburn, who just won the conference tournament championship. It was a team that played with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They've heard a lot this year about what they play, how they play away from Neville Arena, and it seemed they wanted to set out to prove that that wasn't that big of a storyline, and mission accomplished. They were pretty dominant in their run to the SEC tournament championship.
Yeah, they were. And I was there to see them. And as I've been saying all season long, you talk about the depth that they have from the guard position and the fact in the SEC that they have a front line that no one else can match up with as far as Janai Broome and Jalen Williams. And it really looked like inside Bridgestone Arena that Neville Arena traveled to Nashville. So they played outstanding ball, not surprising. Had a chance to be in the mix to win the SEC championship in the regular season, but they definitely got it done here in the tournament.
You know, it's all about the draw and the matchup, and we were talking about this, like Auburn as a 4, Alabama as a 4. Auburn's region much more difficult, in my opinion. Were you a little surprised where Auburn landed and what they've got to face if they are to get to a regional final and possibly a Final Four in Phoenix?
I was, because when you look at the season, I thought that Auburn was a team all season long that was in contention to win the SEC. They had a really good time finish at the end of the regular season and could have been in the mix to win it if Tennessee had not finished strong against those tough teams that they had. But to get a 4 seed after coming in the SEC tournament, which many believe is the toughest conference, and winning it in the fashion in which they did, to not be elevated into a higher seeding was a little bit surprising to me. I do agree with you when you look at the bracket and what they have in front of them. Alabama has a pretty good draw, even though I do not believe that you want to look at mid-majors and names in this college basketball landscape anymore. Names do no longer matter. There's a lot of teams that can play, and they have a lot of transfers that come to rosters that can make teams competitive, and anything can happen in March.
First off, great meeting your son going into the arena. Nice young man there, and I hope he understood when I said we needed him tonight when I was walking off the court that we were talking about basketball, not for him to cheer harder or something like that. I didn't want him to think he cost Alabama the game, though at some stretches he was scoring just as many points as some of the regulars were.
Yeah, I don't know. They had a great time. I was thrilled to be in the building this weekend. I was honored as one of the 2024 SEC legends for Alabama, and that was a lot of fun to have my family to have that moment with me in Nashville. But my son, I think he was wanting to be in the building. If he would be out there, I'm sure he would love to get a shot up in the game somehow if he could get it off.
Well, by the way, of all the SEC people that were honored, you're the only one that's still in playing shape, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that.
Well, I appreciate that. I might look like I'm in playing shape, but listen, I'm done playing basketball. Out there, I talked to some of my buddies coming up with these injuries now. It's like, hey, man, if you're retired, you need to retire and leave it alone. It's a young man's game.
So for Alabama, how do you flush some of the things that have happened here now? It's a new slate. It's go time. It's a whole new season. Are you mentally able to flush that, and how difficult is that to do as an athlete?
Well, let me tell you, the mindset that you have when tournament time comes, all teams have a new slate. And somehow you end up getting more life. And what you find out is many players, maybe who have not been connected and focused as they need to be in the regular season or at any point in the season, somehow seem to get engaged when it's time to have a push in the conference and the NCAA tournament. Alabama has struggled, particularly on the defensive end. They're going to have to shore those things up, and you can only hope that they can be motivated to come out and guard Charleston and then try to get some better shots as far as getting into the paint and getting some layups, particularly when the threes are not falling. You got to be who you are, but it's about being in the moment in the tournament and understanding that now your back is against the wall. It's win or go home. And if you are a player, particularly an older player, a senior, you have to be willing to give it all on the line, because you never know. It might be the last time the ball bounces for you.
Richard Hendrix is with us, SEC Network and ESPN basketball analyst at rhendrix35 on Twitter is where you follow Richard. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. If you were still playing and you're an Alabama player, Auburn player, for that matter, a UAB player, and you're shipped out to Spokane, Washington, and you hope your next stop is Boston or L.A., depending on which of those two brackets you're in, Would you rather come back to campus, sleep in your own bed, reset, or just live in a hotel for a week and a half? What do you think is the smartest play for these teams if they advance?
Well, if you advance, for me, I probably would want to stay out there. You just catch the rhythm. Now, of course, you might have responsibilities at school and things of that nature, but you want to continue to keep the rhythm that you have. You come home and you break it up. I don't know if that is the best thing for the player. Now, for the coaches, they might want to make sure they get you back so you can have a better practice environment to get prepared. But what happens late in the season when you get into tournament play? And when I was in Alabama in 2006, we went out to San Diego and played the first round game and won. And then the second round would have been in Oakland had we advanced past UCLA. You can have a situation where you become comfortable being on the West Coast and playing, and you want to keep the rhythm. So for me, after a long travel, 3-4 hour flight, it's probably best from a player standpoint to remain on the West Coast.
Okay, this might be putting you on the spot, but of the 8 SEC teams in this bracket, how many will you have advancing to the second weekend on your bracket?
Well, on which bracket? On one bracket, I pick all of them to get to the second weekend.
Okay, on your intelligent bracket,
your honesty bracket.
On my intelligent bracket, wow. I have to say the teams that I'm looking at is Auburn, that I think in my intelligent bracket, I actually haven't picked to go as far as the Final Four. I think that they are a team that I think they can actually do something against UConn if they run up to them in that particular bracket, just because of the confidence, the depth of the guard play, and the way that they play with the post players. Now, I know UConn has been playing great basketball, but maybe that might be a little bit of an upset that I'm picking to try to have the proper prediction on my bracket. But the SEC, regardless, this is a year that someone has to step up to the plate. I mean, it's been since 2012, since Kentucky has won a national championship for the conference, Auburn getting to the last Final Four. It's just a year that one of the teams is going to have to make a stand. And to me, when I look at it, I know that Auburn probably has a really good chance just because of the strength of their roster.
What do you think the injury to the Micah, the Florida big guy who went down early with a devastating injury, scary moment there at Bridgestone yesterday? I like that team until that injury. He's not the biggest part. He is literally, physically, but he's not the biggest part of that team. But it took the air out of him a little bit yesterday, but going to the tournament, it changes their rotation a little bit. How big of an injury is that in your opinion?
Well, it's huge. You want to have depth, but I do think that that Florida's strength is within that guard core. I have 4 guards with Riley Kugel and Walter Clayton, Will Richard, and Zion Pullen, who's been the most consistent guard. And that's what really leads this team. Now, the interior play, Tyrese Samuel, has really stepped up. But as you see, Florida can come at you with waves, and they have so much depth. But missing Handloggman is going to be huge for them. But I do think Florida can make it to the Sweet 16. Talent for talent. I look at teams, particularly from the guard position, and the way they play with so much confidence, they can match up with anyone in the country.
Give me a dark horse Final Four participant. I know you said Auburn there, but we're not going to call them a dark horse right now.
Okay. A dark horse. This is my dark horse I got here, and it's coming from a 5 seed. I have to go with Wisconsin. I don't know if I can tell you why.
Well, did you watch them this weekend? And I was on Wisconsin every game, and they were a fun watch. And Hepburn is one of those guards. He gives you trouble on both ends. Wall is a really good player. Store's a really good player. I agree with you. And I think more people, they would be on their radar if they would have pulled out that game against Illinois yesterday.
Yes. It's just a team that when I look at it, there's my 112-5 upset that I have as well. Even though that James Madison team is a really good team in the Sun Belt, they're going to have all of their, they're going to have their work cut out to them up against that team. But Wisconsin, if you look at it, the collision course that they can potentially run into a Kentucky. And it takes me back to that time when Kentucky a few years ago with Wisconsin in that battle with all of the great freshmen that they had on their team. I think they have that psychological edge if that happens just from a program standpoint, that they could be the dark horse back in the Final Four.
Okay. BYU, keep an eye on BYU. I mean, they're all in their 30s, but still good basketball. Good basketball team.
That's experience.
Listen, no, I got BYU going to beating Iowa State, going to the Elite Eight.
Yeah,
I'll be the Elite Eight. I have them on my roster. I'm on bracket. So, I mean, it's college basketball nowadays is wide open. I mean, we saw this last year when you see Miami, San Diego State, Florida Atlantic get all the way to the Final Four, and then you finally succumb to a blue blood in UConn. But with, as you mentioned, older guys on BYU's roster, players who have transferred and have multiple years of experience, talented guard play. When everyone plays so much pick and roll oriented basketball, the more reps that your guards have had in playing ball screen action makes them more better for tournament play, to make big plays in the money time. And it's all about the guards and what they can do in the clutch in March. So I look at the older teams, and that's why it's wide open field. It's not going to be a shock where the Blue Bloods are going to be all the way to the Final Four like it was when I was in 2008. You had all number one seeds, man. Those days old.
Richard, thank you very much for the time. Always great talking with you. All right, that is Richard Hendrix.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, buddy, thank you. Richard with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I like people that make bold predictions. This is Wisconsin. I saw Andrea Carter from Game Day earlier on one of the screens had New Mexico in the Final Four, 11 seed New Mexico.
And New Mexico just won the
men or
Mountain
women?
West.
No, it was men.
It was on ESPN. I thought they only do the women's bracket.
Oh, wow, shot at Lance there. So you didn't immediately.
I mean, what are we looking at right now? Women's bracket.
That's true. No, it's men's. Men's
No,
first round.
look at the
right
bottom.
there. Well, they got both.
No, but I mean, they're
Men's
showing
on the left
they're-
column.
Yeah, they're showing. It's like the ticker for the men's. They're showing women's.
Well, you know, they do make the money off the women's tournament, too. But, I mean, Andrea Carter, you didn't immediately flush that idea of New Mexico. I mean, it's a bold pick.
Yeah, that's really bold. I think Wisconsin's really good, but I think Wisconsin got a terrible draw.
You like little Pitino, though?
I don't like little Pitino.
Well, he's doing a good job.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're playing their best basketball right now, winning a really difficult conference in the Mountain West. But Wisconsin would not only have to beat a 30-win James Madison team, then you've got Duke, then you've got Houston just to get to a regional final where possibly you've got Kentucky. I mean, Wisconsin, again, is good, but they got a terrible draw.
Well, speaking of Big Pitino, former Kentucky coach, pairing it all together, Rick Pitino from heaven did this interview.
What a weird backdrop.
Is that over the Garden?
Coach, good knowing you.
Overseeing the Garden, the world's most famous arena. Here's Rick Pitino after a glass of red wine, not happy about his St. John's team being left out of the dance.
With 32 in the net. Well, first of all, I think we all should probably never mention that word again because I think it's fraudulent. You know, my son was 25 in the net, and he was saying he wasn't in with 25 wins. So I think the net's something that shouldn't even be mentioned anymore. I think that we had a good strength of schedule. Ken Palm, why mention him? We were 26 in Ken Palm. So I don't know. It's we tried to play a tough schedule. We tried to do things the right way, and we didn't get in. But, you know, I never make excuses. I respect the committee for what they do. They give their time. They give their energy to it. They didn't think that we measured up to their standards, and we'll take it very positively like men and move forward. We're not going to gripe. We're not going to say we got screwed. We're not going to. None of that helps. Bitterness does not help. I've had enough bitterness in my life to last a lifetime.
Yeah. He's. But at least, you know, they play at maybe a home game in the finals of the. Oh no, he has literally said no to the NIT.
I don't blame him.
Yeah,
I think the NIT is on life support.
No. We've been saying for years we hate the NIT, and this year finally. We're getting some really big teams. Pitt felt like they were shunned. They said no to the NIT. St. John said no to the NIT. Ole Miss said no to the NIT. Several teams have said no, thank you, to the NIT.
I remember when
Let's
that was.
do away with it. Let's get rid of it.
I agree. Yeah. I remember when it was a massive deal, and I remember the first to say no. I think it was Purvis Ellison and Louisville won a national championship with Denny Crum in 1986, and I think in '87 they missed the tournament, and Denny Crum said, Louisville ain't going to the NIT. And that was a long time ago, and that's when the NIT still had a little credibility. Like, did you guys even remember that UAB played for the NIT championship last year?
Yeah, actually I did because it was all conference. It was 3 of the 4 were Conference USA teams because you also had Florida Atlantic.
And they were all moving to Florida Atlantic was in the real Final Four.
Right. So that was the big story. The Conference USA had, I think, 3 of the 4 Final Four in the NIT and 1 of the 4 in the actual tournament, and they were all going to the American. Yep. So, yes, I do remember that, Lance, but I just think the NIT, like, people were making a big deal. I haven't even stopped to watch it. What Tom Crean said about it last night, apparently he got impassioned about these coaches turning it down. And I'm like, you know why I didn't watch that? Because I saw in the tweet it said NIT.
That's right.
Do not care.
But I don't either. And it's the not in tournament. Why do we still have it?
Do not care.
And I appreciate Andy said on our show, we're not going to go play in any of these pay-for-play tournaments where they pay to be in the CBI.
Yeah. Now you were still going to take an NIT.
Yeah. You got to save that money for Yaks.
Yeah.
That's why they weren't playing in any of those.
Yeah. Hey, our show being brought to you, one more thing in this segment, but our show being brought to you by our friends at Legacy. They got the Swap and Drop program back right now. Love this event every year when they do this. Go to the website, swapanddrop.com. Swapanddrop.com. Auto loans as low as 5.50% APR. What is the Swap and Drop and why do I love it so much? Because most people have a car loan or a truck loan, maybe a boat loan, a camper loan, a motorcycle loan, even an ATV loan. And you got a chance from whatever financial provider you have that loan with right now during this period to swap it over to Legacy and get that great low loan rate. What that's going to do, it's going to lower your monthly payment. It's going to lower your overall payoff. It's all right there at Legacy. Shoot that QR code that you see on the screen if you're watching us. If you're listening to us, just go to swapanddrop.com, swapanddrop.com, and go check that out. It's Legacy and the Swap and Drop program. Engage checking and all the other things they do right there at legacycreditunion.com. Limited time offer, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details, federally insured by the NCUA. Brown, did you have a thought on something there?
No, I actually, for the first time, looked at the NIT schedule. Just out of curiosity, I had no clue until that moment who actually was in it. I saw that Georgia and LSU accepted bids, as did Ohio State with their interim coach. I was just looking to see who was in it, and what I did notice about it is the only thing that was remotely appealing to the NIT was you were fired up for basketball because of the tournament, and that second week, they're playing on like Tuesday and Wednesday when you don't have tournament games, and occasionally you would get a St. Peter. No, it wasn't St. Peter's. Who was it where Kentucky had to go play up there?
Robert Morris.
Robert Morris.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's the biggest game they've ever had in their gym, and they're fired up for it. And I might watch some of that. You don't even get that anymore.
I hate to admit this. I've been to an NIT game. Have you guys?
I've actually gone a couple times to New York to cover UAB and Alabama in the Final Four.
I don't think I have.
Which is amazing that a network would pay for somebody to go up there and cover that.
No.
Shows you how big of a deal it was back in the day. But I went to, and you were probably at this one, 1990, I was a freshman, and Alabama hosted UAB.
Yep.
And that was, when Wimp and Gene were at their heyday of hating each other.
I was at North Carolina came to Bartow and played UAB in the NIT. I went to that one.
I think I went to that one. Now that you mention it, I think I did because I just remember Roy Williams was the coach.
Yep.
And
we talked about it on our show. I can't believe Roy Williams in North Carolina accepted his bid, and they've got to go play at UAB.
I think Roy just wanted his team to say, this is how the other half lives.
Yep.
If you keep playing the way you're playing right now, we're going to be part of this. You can either play in the NCAA tournament or we keep playing games like this. I think he was just trying to send a message.
I mean, that's almost like, sending one of the royal family to stay at a Motel 8
Yeah,
or
but
Motel
Kentucky
6.
to Robert Morris was the same way. It was like, okay, Kentucky, you're in the NIT.
Yep.
We're going to send you to Robert Morris.
Yeah, but I was just looking at the teams there, and they don't even do that really anymore. It's all the big conference teams that weren't good enough to make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and
I don't care.
I don't have the complete list of who turned it down, but it was significant teams coming out. We're not accepting the NIT bid.
To Pitino's point, if you're the NCAA runs the net, right?
They do. It's supposed to be the service that the selection committee uses as an analytic.
So how does the net, if they're running the net, how does it not match their seed list? Because it does not. And I'm not just talking about Auburn. I'm talking about across the board.
Yeah. Why is it not dollar for dollar?
Or at least close.
It?
Yeah. I mean, that makes no sense. So why do they even put the net out if it's not going to match their seed list?
I would say they're using eye test, Brown, but I don't
say
think
they don't.
I would say it's not eye test if Auburn isn't getting more respect than being a 4 seed because Auburn's eye test right now is good.
Well, and Alabama eye test doesn't deserve to be a 4.
That's right. Their eye test is not as good.
Again, now we have officially established the committee pays no attention to conference tournaments. And it's not just the SEC. Again, this is not just an Auburn argument. This is an Illinois argument. Did Illinois raise the trophy yesterday?
Yeah.
They're a 3 seed. I mean, I think they were a 3 seed going into that tournament. Raised the trophy, they're a 3 seed. Auburn, on almost any projections, was a 4 or 5 seed going into the SEC tournament. Raised the trophy, 4 seed.
Yeah,
they don't pay a bit of attention.
Tennessee was going to be a 1. They got bounced early and slipped to a 2. North Carolina,
but see, that was a coin toss to begin with.
Yeah, it was. But North Carolina got beat by NC State and stayed a 1.
But at least in their championship game, they got beat by NC State.
But I do think Tennessee, if they would have won the SEC tournament, they get that other one. Yeah, I do think.
But if North Carolina and Tennessee had both won the tournament, it was going to be a coin toss. I have no clue. So that was too close to call anyway.
All right. When we come back, we've got trash for you today. Final segment, we'll let the Fighting Pearls tell you what they think of the committee. Both Bruce and Steve, after cutting down the net, Steven, after cutting down the net yesterday in Nashville, had a couple of things to say about the selection process and the NCAA. You'll hear from that coming up as we continue on today. The show is being brought to you in part by our friends at Gutter Cap. Hey, Gutter Cap, getting you ready for this rainy season that's coming back. If you look out your window one moment and you've got a waterfall out your window, chances are your gutters are clogged. You need to unclog them and seal them forever. One last time, get them cleaned and then seal them forever with Gutter Cap.
Hey, basketball has its madness in March, but homeowners who clean their gutters have it all year long. Eliminate your gutter cleaning madness forever with Gutter Cap. Call my good friend Chris Stewart today, 205-823-2212. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau for 2 decades. On the board of directors, Gutter Cap, patented aluminum cover system, fits over most existing gutters. Eliminate that dangerous job of getting on a ladder and cleaning out your gutters. 45% off the retail price right now, 205-823-2212. GutterCapBirmingham.com. Cap it, don't snap it. It's GutterCap.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Tournament time is almost here, but any time is a great time to jump on with MyBookie.ag. When you sign up at MyBookie.ag, use code NEXTROUND for a special sign-on bonus. You can use that bonus right away. Win once with it, it is yours and yours forever. Not like some of the sites that make you win 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before you keep the bonus. You win once at MyBookie.ag, it is yours forever. Basketball tournaments, NBA, the start of Major League Baseball, NASCAR, and golf. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Let me introduce you to the new line of Red Wing athletic work shoes. This great new line is perfect for the industrial athlete, the guy who is working on concrete or running through the warehouse all day long. Red Wing Athletics use the same technology found in a running shoe, with soft mesh uppers, a lightweight aluminum toe for protection, and non-slip soles. This shoe is a winner. This comfortable new line of safety shoes are perfect for warehousing and light manufacturing. Plus, the colors look great. Stop by your local Red Wing shoe store, have your feet measured, and test drive a new pair of Red Wing athletic work shoes.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Rolling back with you on the next round. Trash in just a second. Just to recap, Auburn is in what we call the region of death as we started the show. B. Handy was asked, have you guys talked about the East has the Big East champion, the SEC champion, the Big 12 champion, the Big 10 champion? Yes, we did. More importantly
That's
than
crazy,
that,
though.
More importantly than that, B. Handy, and the death is the region of death is the KenPom rankings, which is more important than those championships.
KenPom, as
KenPom,
KenPom, as Pitino said.
UConn is the 1 overall KenPom rated team. Auburn is number 4. Iowa State is 5. Illinois is 10. So 4 of the top 10
That's crazy.
KenPom teams are in the same region. And you also get BYU, who is 16, and San Diego State, who is 21 in the KenPom. You also have Florida Atlantic, who was a Final Four team last year, and they're back this year. You have a dangerous Drake and Washington State winner moving out. That 7-10 winner will be a hotly contested game with Iowa State. It is the spin the wheel region in the East there. And we feel like the West is the weakest, right? Did we all agree with that? The West is the weakest,
Yeah.
the East is the toughest.
I mean, if you want to go KenPom, and the West, your 1 seed North Carolina is 9th in the KenPom.
Now, Arizona's a 2.
Arizona's
is
6. Yeah. So the 2 seed is actually higher than the 1 seed.
But Alabama's the third best KenPom team.
13.
Yep.
So, yeah, it is a much more beneficial, according to KenPom, much more beneficial region for Alabama.
I think you've got the weakest one. You can make an argument weakest 2 with Arizona. Probably not, though. But the weakest 3 and the weakest 4 all in that region.
Yeah. Weakest 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. The 2, again, you could debate it. I don't really think there's a debate with 1, 3, and 4, though.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, our friends with the Squadron, back at it again tomorrow night. You're basketball crazy right now. It is the #1 story in all the news and all the sportscast out there. Basketball, and you get a little professional basketball as the play-in games are cranking up. We'll go to watch the Squadron G2 team down at Legacy Arena Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. Squadron and the Osceola Magic in town. What this game brings you is the 2 leading scorers in the G League right now, Malcolm Hill of Birmingham and Mac McClung of Osceola. They're tied right now in the G League in scoring at 24 points a game. It is Commander Mascot plush doll giveaway night at the door. Limited supply, so the first few hundred fans there get the Commander Mascot. And it's $5 beer chill zone night as well. Get your tickets at the Birmingham Squadron, birminghamsquadron.com, birminghamsquadron.com, or 205-719-0850. 7 o'clock Tuesday night, Legacy Arena for the Birmingham Squadron. Brownie gave us the point spreads earlier. Auburn is a 13-point favorite over Yale. Alabama, a 9.5-point favorite at Charleston. UAB, a 7-point underdog to San Diego State. Samford, a 7.5-point underdog to Kansas. MyBookie.ag. Brownie, tell us about the bracket challenge. I've done it a couple of times. You give me your thoughts on the bracket challenge, since usually you lose this thing.
Since usually I do lose it, this will be our official bracket. It is the one everybody is playing. It is quite easy to do. NextRoundLive.com. All you got to do is go to our website, NextRoundLive.com. Sign up in that bracket game presented by MyBookie.ag. If you win the whole thing, you get a TV. If you finish second, you get a $100 store credit with us. NextRound.store. If you finish third, you're going to go eat on us at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. MyBookie.ag bringing you the bracket challenge right there on our website, NextRoundLive.com, NextRoundLive.com.
I'm not great at math. You guys know that.
I do.
But there's 3 of us that put a challenge on the line every year, a punishment on the line every year. I think we should blind draw all the people who have picked the punishments this year, because this is the first year that we've let them, everyone else that works up here, pick our punishment. We do a blind draw on who ends up paired with us, and it would be 3 of them added to each one of us, right? That gets us to 12 employees. Is that right?
Yeah, but here's the only said problem. You're saying they have to actually take on the bracket challenge we do?
Yeah, absolutely. They have to do the same punishment we do.
Well, if travel's involved, and I don't know if it is or isn't, that would be the problem.
Well, I don't think travel's involved in any of these.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay,
I got zero.
Well, I think if travel's not involved, I think it's a great idea.
I got zero insight on this.
And we don't. And after our bracket is sent in, and after the punishments are released on Wednesday's show, then we do the blind draw. Who ends up on Dunaway's team, LT's team, and Brown's team.
Well, then everybody's got skin in the game, and
That's
everybody's they've got a pulling allegiance.
And at that point, they can't influence my bracket or your bracket or Brown's bracket. It's just a blind draw at that point.
It's an interesting idea you've got here, Jim.
Let's talk about it.
I'd say as long as there's not travel involved, I just think it's done.
Yeah, let's talk about it on the meeting today. It could be a little twist. All of a sudden, it's like what's that? Where they vote people off the island?
Survivor.
It's a Survivor twist, is what that is. Mortgage Right brings us trash. Hit the big button, Rockstar.
Well, shit. What are y'all doing? This is awful. It's still March. How many days in March?
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with the friends at Mortgage Right who do mortgages the right way. Call 205-815-9200. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Bruno Mars.
Yeah, I got it.
I was supposed to remind you.
Thank you, Brown.
You're welcome.
One of the many things Bruno has got going on is a long-term residency at the Park MGM Las Vegas. Now, he's had a relationship with the casino and hotel for more than 8 years. And in a new report from News Nation, Bruno allegedly in deep with the MGM in more ways than one. According to the publication source, the pop juggernaut allegedly has racked up more than $50 million in gambling debts at the MGM.
Let it ride.
$50 million seems hard to do, Lance.
I don't know. Now, according to this source, quote, he owes millions to the MGM, and they basically own him now. Now, a few notes. Bruno has not been shy in the past about his taste for games. During an appearance on Carpool Karaoke, he talked about his love for poker. The source also alleges that Bruno is taking home $90 million a year from his current deal with MGM. And he just launched a cocktail lounge, the Pinky Ring, at another Vegas-based MGM property, the Bellagio. So if any of this is
true. He's got 2 jobs.
And a lot of people believe it is, Bruno is going to be just fine or close to it. We'll see what happens here. But it would be nice if you're the MGM and you know that all this money you're paying is just coming right back.
Well, now, Bama Mafia says 0% he's got a $50 million marker because he says Dana White has a $10 million marker. He's worth 10 times Bruno. Now, Bruno, net worth 175 is what I have seen, but I think if the MGM would know, they've kind of got him over a barrel there, right? Yeah, let him keep playing. Yeah, we'll get the $50 million.
Yeah, we're paying him $90 million over the course of his contract with us.
We'll get the $50 million.
Right now, we're quote unquote garnishing his wages.
I'm not saying what Bama Mafia is saying is not legitimate. Dana White's net worth is bigger. But if you are the MGM and you've got an employee that's doing a residency, I would let him go as deep in a hole as I possibly could.
Well, Zach says you don't get $50 million in debt playing poker at the casino. Well, there are other things at the casino that can arrange for you that cost a little bit of money too.
Yeah. Plenty of ways to get $50 million in debt if you're playing the levels that he plays.
Yeah, but you also could have room service where they bring you some high-end food and cocktails, and the room service doesn't leave. Spends the night with you.
But I think that's more you get that comped when you start losing millions of dollars.
I mean, there could be some in a sports book too. When you think
the slumber parties go up, the numbers involved in slumber parties go up if you're losing millions of dollars.
Sports book too, though, right? I mean, that wouldn't surprise you.
Yeah, the casinos just don't really respect the sports book as far as the dollars involved. So, if you're one of those guys and you play $1,000, like if you're playing $100 hands in blackjack, you're going to get comped out. If you're playing $1,000 games in the sports book, they don't care. They'll give you a drink voucher. 25-year-old tattoo enthusiast from Las Vegas said that she got a QR code tattoo on her right arm that plays Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up on repeat when it's scanned with a smartphone. Now, this is in a friendship group, we'd Rickroll each other. I wanted to top everyone. This according to Mang Rentis.
Rickroll is something that was popular years ago.
Oh, it's still popular. My 10-year-old loves it.
Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. Yep. Somebody will post a link on something like, hey, have you ever heard what Jell-O sounds like when it's put through a wood chipper? It gives you a link, and then it goes right to the YouTube video of "Never Gonna Give You."
Rick Roll, they say a prank that involves trolling unsuspected person to a link for the music video in the 1987 tune.
Yeah, Lunsford is trying it right now off of the screen. You got to be a pretty good tattoo artist to get the QR code to be scannable.
Yeah, because if it doesn't scan, what are you really going to do?
Yeah, you got a bad tattoo at that point.
You just get a black box on your arm.
My little one, though, she'll get a kick out of like, can I have the aux? And she'll plug her phone in. So I'm going to play a song for us, and she'll rickroll you. So, yeah, the 10-year-old still get a kick out of it, Rockstar.
The QR code for the next round would have been good. Remember we had the one waitress at the Floribama that was going to get the logo tag?
And remembered it. Like, she agreed to it one time we were down there, and then the next time we come back, I'd completely forgotten the story. She comes up to our table. She's like, hey, my guys, I'm still willing to get the tattoo. And I'm like,
no, but she didn't, because we tried to contact her the next day to go, and she didn't.
I mean, that was good value on our part, I thought, for what we were going to get.
For the Rick Astley Never Gonna Give You Up official music video, how many views you think on YouTube?
Oh, it's got to be through the roof.
I would say it is this is going to be crazy. I would say over 1 billion.
No, I don't think it's 1 billion. I'm going to say 180 million.
No guess.
1.5 billion.
God, I thought that was crazy when he said 1 billion.
Okay.
Does he make money off that, Rockstar, though?
He should.
I don't
know.
If he wrote the song,
it's his channel, too, so it's on him.
Oh, it's his official channel?
That's what it says from Rick Astley.
Then he does, yeah.
How many subscribers? People liking, giving that thumbs up, though? Hey, from the fetus to the soldier, most people sleep in one of 6 main positions, and some are much better at it than others. Now, while you may not feel instantly uncomfortable in bed if you regularly wake with aches and pains, which I do, or if you find that you frequently suffer with a disturbed night's sleep, a bad sleeping position may be the cause. I've always heard that I sleep in the wrong position. Here are the distinct differences between sleeping positions. Number one, the fetus.
Before you read those, tell us which one you are.
I'm the soldier, the yearner, and the fetus. I've got all 3 of those.
I am the log and the free faller.
My son is the starfish, but the opposite way.
Okay.
I am the free faller and the fetus.
But the free faller is face down, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm free faller to go to sleep, and then I'm the yearner for most of the night, but really on the other shoulder.
The fetus is my favorite one because the pillow between the knees helps my back.
Yeah.
It's such an old
Well, I mean, the
comment.
soldier is going to be the way to go. Anyway, the fetus curled up in a ball. It's at 60% of adults spend the majority of the night in a side position. The log, arms and legs extended to your side. The yearner, arms stretched out in front, legs extended on your back. The soldier, arms by your side while you're laying on your back. Starfish, arms stretched above your head while laying on back. And free faller on your stomach with your head to one side and arms wrapped around the pillow.
Can I give you the problem with the fetus?
They've all got problems.
They all have problems.
Yeah.
The problem with the fetus is when I sleep like the fetus, I don't move at night. So, like, I'll go to bed laying on my right side with a pillow between my legs, and I'll wake up.
And your shoulder hurts, I bet.
And my shoulder hurts, or my arm is asleep because I have not moved all night.
My
because of that pillow.
arm the other night was so asleep, like I couldn't move it. Like I woke up in the middle of the night, it was completely dead for like 2 minutes, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, like if you ever wake up like that and you have to go to the bathroom and you're like,
yeah.
What has happened?
That is rough.
I woke up this morning without doing anything. I thought I was still in my hotel room in Nashville by myself. Like, I forgot Maggie was there, and I was like, oh, I just want to sleep a little bit longer. And Maggie was like, well, go back to sleep a little bit longer. You don't have to go in this early. And I was like, oh,
Maggie!
I thought I was still in Nashville.
Who's that woman?
I thought I was talking to myself.
So here are 50s slang terms you should know. First one, backseat bingo. The 1950s saw the explosion of the American car culture, and with it came a wave of new car-related slang terms. Backseat bingo referred to sex that was going on inside of the vehicle.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was pretty self-explanatory on that one.
I was still missing a letter.
The old backseat bingo.
Genchy. If a friend said you were the genchiest of the 1950s, that would have been high praise.
Back to the backseat bingo. I would always have 4 in a row. I never could get the O.
Do you ever have the law roll up on you in that situation?
The law.
I have. There was a popular place in Hoover, Star Lake, and I've had an officer knock on the window.
The steamy, fogged up windows.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's nothing more embarrassing, and it's happened. It's happened to a good bit of people out there.
And the question is always, ma'am, young lady, are you willing, or is it okay for you to be here?
Oh,
like,
really? That's the question.
Like, do I need to call somebody? And she's like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah, did they just?
I never got that question.
Did they? Yeah. You must look creepy, Jim. Did they just let you leave after
always
that?
dated younger,
Yeah. Did they just let you leave after that?
They do tell you to go.
They don't give you a citation or anything.
No, you need to get out of here. Some of the neighborhoods complain.
That's an embarrassing
Cars are parking
citation.
out here.
If you have to go pay that one.
50 slang terms you should know. Getting pinned, synonymous with going steady with a significant other in the 1950s. Dating lingo was literal, as male suitors would offer an actual pin for the object of their affections to wear as a sign of their commitment. I remember in college, in Greek life,
we got pinned.
People would get pinned, which was like, you're going to get engaged one day.
Because what was it? It was it lavalier or something? I forget what it was, and then you got pinned. That was basically on your way to being engaged at that point.
Wow.
And finally, the Passion Pit, the drive-in. It's more than just a spot to go and see cheap B-movie with your friends. Drive-ins were also the place for teens in heat to bring a date.
In heat.
That's what I'm reading.
Scraping the tree.
And finally, a court in Spain recently ruled that a man must pay his ex-wife almost $96,000 as compensation for her work as a housewife during 26 years of marriage. Now, the unnamed couple, this is going to open Pandora's box, by the way. Unnamed couple married in 1996, and until their separation in 2022, the wife only worked outside of the family home for a total of 205 days spread across several years, dedicating herself to raising their only daughter and keeping the household in order. After their separation, the husband demanded in the family home that he had long been paid for, while she had to go out on her own and rent a place. She had to find a job immediately in order to support herself, but because she spent 26 of her life as a housewife, she will likely be entitled to a very small pension, unlike her husband who dedicated his life to his professional career. Now the woman is seeking compensation for all of her years for housework. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I don't know what their settlement was. I don't know what he gave her. I don't know what alimony is, but
it does seem kind of like fair play there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did keep the house clean.
That's right. You did a lot of work at home.
Now, I'm going to say she's probably caught him in a compromising situation, so she's going after everything she can get.
Her whole argument is I haven't been in the workforce for 26 years.
Well, right.
I am so behind in everything. What am I qualified to do?
That's a legitimate complaint.
That is. And look, I side with her on this. Again, this is going to get, if this becomes a thing, but I think you catch it on the front end. If you give her what she should get before this, I don't think it becomes a thing.
In the settlement.
I'm just talking about he probably didn't want to give her anything, and then her attorney got really creative, and they got a legitimate argument here.
That is Trash, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Hey, are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. It's a veteran-owned, operated company. They understand the difference between working with someone who gets it, someone who doesn't. They've made it their mission to simplify the VA loan process. Visit their location on Highway 280. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200.
Before Brownie tells us about Johnston RV, it was a historic weekend for the University of Montevallo wrestling team. First year of a program, and in their first year of a program, they got their first national champion over the weekend.
Well, that's pretty impressive.
In NCAA Division II. It's that young man right there in the 133-pound division of Division II. First ever national champion at Montevallo for wrestling. Gabe Hicksonbaugh, who was a Thompson wrestler, went to the University of Montevallo. He started his college career somewhere else. And then Hicksonbaugh is now a national champion and on the D2 level. So congratulations to him and the University of Montevallo in their first year of wrestling to already have a national champion. Pretty big deal there for the fine folks at Montevallo.
You ever see the crowds they get like in the Midwest for college wrestling?
Oh, yeah.
Like Nebraska and Iowa and those Midwest schools. I mean, it's a big deal out there.
It really is. And Thompson's always had a really good wrestling high school program, and maybe that's one reason why Montevallo started, wanted to have some of the local wrestlers have an opportunity to stay home. So congratulations to Montevallo, montevallo.edu if you want to check out that school. Tell us about Johnston RV. It's a family at Montevallo. It's a family at Johnston RV,
it is.
too.
And listen, they have just completely reevaluated all of their pricing there, and that's going to benefit you because what they've discovered is, man, our pricing, we're so confident in it at Johnston RV Center that we will beat any price you find nationwide on a comparable model. They've repriced everything. Any comparable model, you bring them the price, guarantee you they're going to beat it, and that is nationwide. They're at Johnston RV Center. Don't forget, Warranty forever from RV Warranty Forever on any brand new or any qualifying pre-owned RV. You can find that at Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, johnstonrvcenter.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention The Next Round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th Annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
Hemp Hill Services bringing us this final segment. Rockstar, I'll need 2, 3, and 4 in this final segment. We'll hear from the Championship Pearl family, who had some thoughts after the committee released the brackets yesterday. Hemp Hill Services has brought us best and worst of the weekend. We've been reading those in the chat room all day.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Contact them today, 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them The Next Round sent you. Hard to stop a train. Trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954. hemphillservices.com.
All right. Rockstar cut number 2. This is Stephen Pearl on our show yesterday that was presented by our friends at mybookie.ag. They're also bringing us the bracket. Stephen Pearl had just watched in the ballroom behind him the selection committee putting Auburn as a 4 seed, and y'all had this interaction live on the air.
But you've won 6 straight games now, and they ship you guys to Spokane as a 4. And I said before the show came on, you guys are playing like a 2 seed. You were playing like one of the best 8 teams in college basketball. I didn't think you'd be on the 2 line, but I thought for sure you guys would be on the 3 line.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, I think, last week or the week before. The SEC tournament doesn't mean a damn thing. If you can win 3 straight games and win the SEC championship and be a 4 seed, it's a joke, honestly. I think they made their mind up before we got into the SEC tournament. So it makes it really hard for us as coaches to, find a way to tell our guys, like, we're trying. Obviously, it's amazing to have a championship, but it doesn't do anything for our team to show up and win 3 games in 3 days if we're not going to be rewarded for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have to be frustrating as coaches, not just in the SEC. This is true across the board again. I mean, this is not just the Southeastern Conference. Anytime there's a trophy involved, you want your team to play for the trophy. And the conference obviously puts a pretty big emphasis on this conference tournament. You were just there. It's a big deal for the SEC, right?
Yes.
I mean, they don't strike a deal with Bridgestone Arena and make it part of their TV package with ESPN for no reason.
Fan fest outside, streets blocked off, concerts going on.
Right.
Not anybody I'd heard of, but doesn't mean they're not stars or uprising stars. But, they had a lot of stuff going on.
But if I'm a coach, I can be Bill Self and just say, you know what, I got some injured guys. They're just not even going to try.
No, you're going to see more of that.
And it doesn't hurt them a bit.
Hey, what about moving the championship game back to Saturday?
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I don't think it matters either. I mean, if the committee is not going to say, hey, part of the criteria is championship game or a conference tournament, I think you're going to see, much like the first time we really saw somebody opt out, Kristen McCaffrey, out of a bowl game, and now that's just commonplace. It's not going to be set on the surface, but I think you're going to see more starters that are rested.
I agree.
That scene we're looking at right now.
That's a great scene.
It's awesome. But
it's awesome, but it did nothing for me in the actual tournament that matters the most. And
the fact of the matter is, though, Brown, would you rather lose game 1 if you're Auburn or just get to a Sweet 16? A Sweet 16 is more important than a conference championship.
But you said move it back to Saturday. Well, on Saturday, they knew Auburn was in the conference championship game, and that didn't even affect anything. If you believed Auburn was on the 4 line going in, which I think most people did, they knew Saturday when they were putting the bracket together, hey, Auburn's in the SEC championship game, and that didn't affect anything. So I don't know why winning it Saturday would have affected anything.
Here's Bruce Pearl talking to Little T and the rest of the media gathered there after the selection show.
We were hoping that an SEC tournament championship and wherever we are in the net, maybe we're a 5 or so in the net, would get us to the 3 line, but it obviously didn't. So are we paying a price for being in Birmingham last year and getting an incredible opportunity against Houston, the 1 seed, perhaps? So it's a long way to travel for our fans. You always wonder how much this thing is seeded before the Sunday final. And we talk about it all the time. We talk about it in our league meetings, and so listen, we're grateful to be in the tournament, and we're grateful to have won a championship in the SEC, and especially in a year when the league is so very, very competitive. And the road to the Final Four is difficult for everybody.
Yeah. I would tell you one more, Rockstar. Bruce, I believe, did not know that also Alabama and UAB also got sent to Spokane because after, very early on, Auburn's name popped up, and then Bruce did a lot of other stuff with some fans who were there in the ballroom, some families that were in the ballroom, the players. He was having a good time, and so in this interview, it becomes aware to him that Alabama, UAB, and Auburn are all in the same place in Spokane, Washington, and Bruce has a thought about the NCAA.
Turns out Alabama's actually also going to be at the same site, so it's UAB, and Bama all there. Is that what about this all the Alabama?
I mean, Alabama, UAB, and Auburn in Spokane, Washington. Enough said.
Wow.
Greg Byrne didn't do you any favors?
No comment.
Yeah, I'm a little. So he's upset about it, obviously.
Just the fact. If you're the Spokane folks, okay, there's Idaho. I think is the official host of the event.
It's just across the border. Yeah.
Yeah, but the University of Idaho, there's always a university sponsor.
Right.
I don't know if it was UAB or Samford last year at Legacy, or maybe
I think it was Samford because Martin Newton was the guy that ran it. Yeah.
And you hire companies like Knight Eady.
That's who really ran it. Yes.
Right. Who runs the tournament. Well, there's somebody in Spokane that is charged with running this tournament at the Spokane Memorial Coliseum, wherever we're playing this thing. And they've got to sell tickets. Well, if you look at who's in this tournament to sell tickets, I mean, you've got Auburn, Alabama, and UAB coming all the way from here going to there.
I mean, the closest team, correct me if I'm wrong, is St. Mary's. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
And
St. Mary's, and then, San Diego State would still be a
that's a haul.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the flight. You probably get there 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, what does St. Mary's put in their home arena?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know what they get in their home arena.
5,000 a game,
maybe 5,000 a game. How many are going to go to Spokane?
And so you're sitting here as a NCAA tournament, and it's not the committee's fault. It's just the way we do the tournament now. We have these pods. In the past, when you went west, you played all your games out west. And when you went east, you played all your games in the east and in the south, whatever the regions were. Now we have this pod system.
I was trying to explain this to my wife last night, and I got the most confused look with
where
this.
We're supposed to keep teams closer to the area, but we've got Auburn and UAB in the east playing in Spokane. Alabama being in the west playing in Spokane makes sense. And, Bruce saying Greg Burns' name there, that was the question from someone there in the media. He's one of, I don't know how many committee members they are. He doesn't have the last voice on how this thing is designed or anything, but it is just it's a broken system. If we're going to ship teams from Alabama all the way to Spokane, let's go back old school way then and just, if you're in the west,
is in the west.
You're in the west. We're putting the west region out in the west. We're playing the east region in the east.
Made the most sense. Now, it is, I didn't even think about it yesterday when I looked at this Auburn draw. I had forgotten last year that Auburn as an 8 or a 9.
They were the 9.
Yeah,
Iowa
as a
was
9 had gotten to Birmingham. So you get a break, you don't get a break.
Yeah, my wife asked me last night, she goes, so why are all these state teams going out west? And I was like, well, the NCAA changed it a couple of years ago where you don't necessarily play the region you're in. And I start to explain it, and I finally just told Jennifer, I was like, I really can't make any sense out of this. I don't know. I'm mid-explanation to you, and I cannot explain why 2 East teams, Auburn and UAB, are playing in Spokane. It really doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they were punishing Auburn. Like Alabama, you could understand a little bit. Like, you know what? We're going to keep you as the 4 seed, but you didn't play great down the stretch. You got bounced in your conference tournament. You get to keep the 4 seed, but you're going out west. Like with Auburn, it's like, you were a 4 seed. You also played well down the stretch and won your conference tournament, still going out west.
Yeah, but that is by far the worst destination for these teams.
Yeah. And,
I'm just talking about geographically.
And Auburn, we're going to give you the overall number 1.
It just sucks for the fans because, as you said, these are the games that matter, right? These are the ones you want to go to. If you can go as a fan. And it was so awesome here in Birmingham last year, having Alabama so close and Auburn so close for you to be able to go to the games and not go out of pocket for it. You just can't do that to Spokane. It's just hard to get there.
Yeah, but if I was an Auburn fan, I'd save my money for Boston and just you hope you're going to be favored. If you win this game against Yale, you're going to be favored against San Diego State or UAB, and you beat them, you're going to get an opportunity against probably the number 1 overall seed.
Far easier getting to Boston than Spokane.
Yeah, but I'm right about this. I mean, Alabama was at the Rose Bowl, but it's a lot easier to get to the Rose Bowl than it is Spokane, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Spokane's multiple flights, right?
From Birmingham? It's a hotel.
I don't know how many flights from Birmingham.
Probably 3 connectors.
Maybe there's a charter that'll be announced today straight from Birmingham to Spokane for a couple of lucky fans who will make the trip out there. All right, that's the show today. Bracket Challenge brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. Go there, fill them out right now, nextroundlive.com. Nextroundlive.com. It's the MyBookie Next Round Live Bracket Challenge right now, nextroundlive.com. Until next time, God bless you, and God bless America.